Oh,
Hello.
big echoes from you, buddy. I think we've
Me?
sorted it. Yeah, I think we've sorted it. But yeah,
Sure
well,
then.
as I said in the headline for the show, McBride, good to see you. It's a MLS, MFL kind of takeover feel for the last week or so, for me anyway, on the timeline, on the channel, and everywhere else in between. I've got my MFL playoff to try and get out of the Stone League. I thought it kicked off like now, but it doesn't actually kick off for 10 minutes, so we'll have a little. Everyone's saying no sound, but I'm good now. Sorry. Is the mic okay? That
Yeah,
works
I hear
okay.
you now, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's all been about MFL. It's all been about MLS this week. And I want to say as well, by the way, to everyone that is tuning in and catching us live, that ahead of season 4, MFL have announced a huge increase on the MFL payout, new structure to cards, and a lot of other nice iterations. And for anyone that's getting involved in opening their account with MFL, there's another special promotion on the go where when you get your club license, you're going to get a player pack. This offer ends 18th of March. It's exclusive to anyone signing up that clicks on the link that's in the description of the video. I'll also go ahead and pin it into the live chat as well, in case any of you guys are friends and loved ones of the FC Barcelona community already and you haven't got involved. You've been kind of teetering on it. Should I or shouldn't I? This is a great incentive to get started. Once you've got your club, it's just like buying the game. You're talking about 70 or 80 quid typically, depending on the dollar conversion. And once you get your player pack, you're up and running with a few cards already to get you running. So it's a great time to get started on so many ways. The end of season 3, beginning of season 4, and I love a little promotion. Make sure when you open your account, do so by clicking directly on the link that's here, and sign up directly from there. Allow cookies and all that kind of good stuff. But Bride, you've got a playoff tonight as well, I believe.
Yeah, it's a wee bit later though. Yeah, there is an echo again.
You
I
know, you
can
getting
hear
an
you.
echo again.
It's coming through your end.
Through mine, it's probably 2 seconds. I'll get my headphones on. That that'll be probably part of the problem.
It was you blaming me, Quinny, and my shite IT setup. I've got a
Haphazard
playoff.
tonight, not shite.
Yeah,
There we go. That should be much better.
yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah, I've got a playoff in bronze later, so that's going to be interesting. Pretty difficult game, but there we go. It's at least I came second, so if you get beat, you get another chance to go into the kind of other bit. So we play against a team that came third, and then you need to beat that team, and then you need to beat a team who came ninth and silver. So, aye, it's not going to be easy, but there we go. Nearly won the league. I only lost out in goal difference, right? So it was a weird one. I had the last game of the season, and I was playing against a team who was bottom, who was terrible, and I had 59 shots. I had to win 8-0 and I won 6-0.
Oh, what?
It's wild. I just
Yeah.
went like all out, a proper all out attack. Like I've never seen so many shots in my life in any games. Like and then that wee splash thing they run earlier, me and Hoodwink ended up playing against each other. So I was Celtic and he was Edinburgh Castle, and I battered him. And his goalkeeper made 12 saves, and his goalkeeper got a 9.9 to beat me 1-0.
Wow.
So
And was
aye.
his goalkeeper like extra good for the level, or was it just a good performance out the random?
Nah, he's a good goalkeeper. He's a 77, right? So he's a good goalkeeper, but I
So where does
just
that rank in that league? A 77 keeper, is that top 3 level? Would you reckon, or
Well, I
round
was
about?
playing with Celtic, and I've got like 77 strikers and stuff, so it's nothing out of the ordinary, if you know what I mean. It's not like hard to get past if you get good strikers or whatever. But it just did like an absolute stormer. But that's the way it plays out sometimes. So, and the splash thing they run was on new engine as well. I don't know if you get a chance to enter it, but you can see some improvements and stuff already. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
It sounds like McBride was playing against Rangers in the Champions League. I don't know what that means, Hamed, but I love it. Sounds like he's been to Turkey and back, maybe. Um, Although I was gonna yeah, because what I was meaning with the goalkeeper thing, right, is I played it against the guy, or the guy that won my league had the best defense by a long shot, and his goalkeeper is rated at 74. My goalkeeper is rated at 71, and I think like my goalkeeper, whenever I was looking at opposition, like my goalkeeper was normally rated better. If I'm just like looking at the strengths of squads, one against each other. I'm catching an echo coming back through. Sorry there, bud. But so yeah, the guy, I was like, wow, 74 made such a huge difference where he conceded like 9 goals across the season, whereas like me and the other guy who were closest to him defensively were like conceding 20s and 30s or something like that. So Just when you had a story about goalkeeper there, I wasn't sure if you were going to say that
Yeah.
77 guy, and you'd noticed maybe the average was maybe like 74 or something. So I was just kind of curious about that
You
because
play like
goalkeepers
4-2-4?
don't have much going on. It's overall only, isn't it?
What formation do you play though? Do you still play like 4-2-4 or?
I've been 4-4-2 diamond, CMs everywhere, no wide players.
Aye. I suppose I think it's a combination of things like how you play and everything as well.
Fair.
Like you were
Quite
saying, you
attacking.
conceded 9 goals, but we might have played like a sort of tighter formation. Like I play a lot of 4-3-3, so sometimes I'll like batter somebody 6-0 or like I batter somebody and batter them and I get mugged. So I think it just kind of depends, like different formations as well. I think that it shouldn't really have an influence on how the goalkeeper's playing, but I think it kind of does in the match engine if because it just works out like how the formation and the tactics and stuff are. And I need some work, obviously, because I played a game at the end of the season. And a guy had 8 chances, never scored a single goal. And he's like a 80 finishing striker. So when I mean 8 chances, I mean like 8 proper like through and goal, all that sort of stuff. Never scored a single goal. And the other goalkeeper had a stormer. So I feel as if I'm running into a lot of stormers, but I think it's because maybe the other guys are playing a bit tighter and I'm playing a bit more attacking and I'm getting more shots and they're getting loads of saves. So that it's like real life, right? Like you playing like All Black never gets a big score because like he doesn't really face many shots, and then he gets a clean sheet, he gets like a 60 in Sorare, and you're like, oh, that's great, but at least doesn't really get any A because Atletico just don't really concede many shots. So it's a bit, I think it's a bit like that. So I
Fair
suppose
enough.
you missed.
This is who I've got in my playoff tonight. So if I win this, I'm straight up. But if I lose it, I've got like a second chance Sunday on a double playoff. This guy's goalkeeper is 72. And when I was looking at this guy's squad earlier, I was kind of surprised that the defence is quite good. I think there's a good midfielder or two, but the across the full squad, I thought this guy doesn't scare me too much. There's some guys that are all right, obviously, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it felt like he's got like a kind of higher kind of average on his first 11 rather than mine has been kind of by accidental. I've just got a few guys that are rippers that are like kind of lifting the level overall with some guys that are off level. So I'm quite optimistic coming into this. He's gave away 60% rev share. This guy, so a lot of these better guys he probably doesn't own. So that's kind of an interesting little detail. A little team from Rome, Caput Monday. It's a fun team, fun logo. Bit of the gladiator theme on the go.
Hope you're no kaput, Quinny.
I hope I'm not Caput as well, buddy, for sure. And I'd like to do it. I'd like to get the business done tonight. I'd like to get the job done. I don't want to check my inbox. I've also had like rollover day, so I'll check out some stats and see what MFL I've brought in. And McBride, if you want to look at anything, obviously feel free. Happy to chat MLS, hot streaks,
Yeah.
anything else really. We started a little bit later than intended. I was planning on going at 8 and finishing around 9:30 at a push. Because last week when we wrapped up, the Penfest came in like. But did the Penfest come into the actual stream? No, he didn't. He came in like as me and you were saying like good night, see you later kind of thing, didn't he? Just came in and it was like a stream kind of thing. Was it me and you last week, or was it me and Charlie actually? I don't think it was you.
I
Was
remember.
it
Was
you?
I on last week? I don't know. Can't
No,
remember.
it wasn't you. It was me and Charlie. So me and Charlie finished the show, and then we were just sitting chatting for a wee bit, and I was like, okay, cool, catch you, talk to you tomorrow, whatever. And Nep just came in, like it just obviously clicked to the invite thing, and I thought if we hung on the show for another 10 minutes, we could have had a wee 20-minute kind of wrap up. It might have been a bit more fun. So anyway, the door's kind of open a little bit, but I can't stay on for too late tonight. A wee bit behind schedule, but happy to touch on everything and anything we can, and always happy to keep the door open for any special crash guests as well. Because yeah, that's a kind of fun little thing that happened this week. Because we had Nellis coming back and doing the Sorare advert in America with all the superstars and whatever. And this week we had Nep making his first MFL like video thing or whatever. So it was kind of a interesting kind of parallel kind of happening there, isn't there? In a weird way.
I think Neb really enjoys the game. To be honest, like I watched a bit of
Oh
Neb's
yeah,
and like he like and like something like I know sometimes people can be a bit cynical or whatever. And all right, like we play this stuff and like you've got your link to support the channel and all that sort of stuff. But I know 100% for definite that like we've had shows and Neb's been like sitting talking about MFL for 20 minutes and stuff like that. So that's not like him just saying that. Do you know what I mean? Like he really does enjoy the game. So has your game started?
big time. Yeah, it's just started now. I've just paused it. We can oh, it's at 26 minutes. Spoiler. We're catching it live, guys. Um, I was going to say, yeah, I listen to a lot of Nip stuff, like just kind of for fun, like if anything, especially I know this is his first kind of MFL video or whatever, but I started listening to it and see 'cause it's a beginner video. I was getting like hyped up to like, oh yeah, 'cause I need to do a new one because I've only did an unboxing video, like how to open the account, and then like a beginner mistake one. But I need to do a proper like beginner one. And when I was listening to his for about 5 minutes, I was like, oh, this is just getting me hyped up to record like a beginner tutorial. I better put this on ice and I'll come back to it for a wee bit of pop for when I need it. But yeah, you can tell like genuine, and that's the same with myself. I don't take sponsorships on the channel at any ratio compared to what I'm offered them. You know, it's always got to be something that fits the channel I actually like and doesn't feel like some mad show to get around. So, and that very much comes across with Nep as well. So it's great to see this stuff.
So I've
In
got a
everyone's
link
face.
too, but I've got 5 teams, so like you know that I'm not just trying to get you to play. So I've got 5 teams, like so, like I love it. Like, honestly, I think it's a great wee game. But for me, like it's get the. I know it's because of a bit of DJing when I was younger, but I used to play Football Manager, and the way I would play Football Manager is if I started the season and I started at 8 o'clock at night, I was up to 8 o'clock in the morning to finish the season. That's the way
Yeah,
I would wake up at 4 in the afternoon or whatever, and I'd be like, I need to go on my breakfast now because I've been like winning the Champions League with Celtic and stuff. Like so, like when you play this, like the good thing is like just kind of brings back like that kind of memory of like you'll want to like sort of win with your own club and your own players and your own team and all that guy's getting better and
look at the
like
guy I found.
aye,
Yeah,
the progression part's amazing. Like so, but like I love the all the progress. Like see getting that sort of training in the morning, like who's getting better and like that's like it's amazing. Like I love it.
likewise. I've just hit the game back onto play, but I put it back to the beginning in case there was anything to catch. Um,
Well, no, in the first 26 minutes, there's no quinnies. It's
say
nil
again.
nil after 26. Sorry, I
Yeah,
was.
yeah, we know. But just in case there's a big bit of controversy, maybe we're at home for this one, so we need to give the home fans every minute that they're getting in their season ticket. You know, McBride, we can't start the first whistle and we're 25 minutes in.
Fair dues.
But yeah, everyone who's joining us live, by the way, fist bumps to you all, heroes and legends, putting up with the delayed kickoff time and all the rest of it. So thank you very much. Please do hit the like button; it means a lot. And like I said at the tip off, like me and McBride are talking about, like genuinely, if you like football manager type games, great game, great time to play. Hit the link and all that good stuff. Any questions, need any help, reach out. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
that
we
another
know we
cool
get to
thing.
26 minutes in one piece, and then from
Yeah,
there it's white knuckle ride.
I think that cool bit about the game as well, Quinn, is obviously you're $70 or $80 or whatever to mint your license, but you looked at that guy earlier and he giving away like 60%. So if you don't really have a budget, but you want to like enjoy playing with like good players or whatever, you can loan guys in, right? So like, I think it's a good setup because you know a lot of the big accounts have got too many players or whatever. Like they don't want to like manage all their own teams, so maybe they just want to like loan out guys for revenue share and stuff, and maybe like still get the benefit of the progression if they go up. So there's different ways to kind of skin the cat in it as well, which is quite good because often people say, "Oh, it's a bit too expensive" or whatever, but you can kind of grind your way up as long as you're willing to just buy the license, obviously. Ah,
Oh no, 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 no!
jeez, oh,
Don't like to see that. James, I've not seen Nep's latest craft, but I'm guessing it's a doozy from your comment here. Me and Stish End Product Podcast was back on the waves. It's on all the podcast places today. It's on the YouTube channel since Thursday. Make sure to check it out if you can. But yeah, we were chatting about that, and I've not seen it, but you're teasing me here. Oh, Tolentino.
we need a NASA hat trick here, don't we? We need a NASA 84 banger.
I don't normally captain him, but I captained him for this game
Yeah,
just to soup him up in case he does need to go
he's
off
got
on
some
one.
chances.
Oh,
The new engines is marginally better. You can see some like definitely changes. Like you can see like balls going in off the post and like you know it's just wee things like which obviously us connoisseurs like helps out a lot. You know, but aye, it's interesting. Still got a long time to go, Quinny. Still got a long time to go.
still a long time to go. It's always one in the second half.
These go to like extra time and everything as well, don't they?
Oh, lucky NASA. That captain's armband feeling brave. Yeah, they should do, extra time penalties.
That's a knockout in it.
Oh, James, I said no spoilers. I'm not going to put it on screen in case there's a video for it. It's not a bad one. Depends what tier you got it out of, I suppose. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about your game. I thought somebody had watched the end of your game or something.
Nah, nobody would be doing that. We're all here together, aren't we? Fist bump to our arrival, let's say. Thanks to everyone that's hanging in with us tonight. I don't know if you've seen the deadline show, McBride, but I screwed the team up right at the deadline. I missed an entry. So, we bit of deadline drama. Oh, get away from my box, man.
It seems if, like, at the moment, like, Sorare wise, like, there's a lot happening, eh? Like, obviously, all the leagues are running and everything, so, but, like, I mean, it just feels like you've got loads of lineups to make, which I kind of enjoy as well, you know, but, like, it's about a headache as well, you know. I started, like, yesterday or whatever, and I've done about 30, 35 teams. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting there now. And I'm like, no, I'm only halfway. It's like just wild. So,
I've certainly felt that over the last week where it's became much more.
yeah!
Nasser!
Doing the big NASA. I called that, Quinn Dog. I called it.
5'9", mate.
Loaned it in. Who cares?
Flies like Larson in the air. That's what the wee man does.
He's not like a 90 for finishing or something. Is that right? Like, I don't know.
Aye.
He's like, that's why he's an 84, right? He's just like shit hot, the old finishing.
No problem, James. No problem. But yeah, back in it. Back in it.
Oh no.
Oh no, no, Kazaniga.
That was your defender giving the ball away there.
Was it? I kind of missed it there, so I was catching comments. Can I go back and
Yeah.
look at it?
Defender totally gave the ball away, and it does look like, yeah. You were in possession, weren't you? Yeah, in possession.
Oh,
Chip to goalie.
what an error, man. Error led to goal for Big Wagner.
Aye.
I've got him on conservative passing as well.
Yeah, he
I
must
think
just
that's
be
what that might
shite.
have been, that Bass pack.
Might
Back
be
pass.
conservative, maybe. I would think conservative would mean like just pass it to the nearest player. But I think the logic in the new engine's starting to get a bit better. Like I noticed like one of the games there was a guy who was through and he just like squared it to the other guy. Like I'd never seen that before, you know. Whereas before they would just shoot it at the goalkeeper and like see start to see some in-game logic. So
I had a goal at that early season. I had a game where I turned all my passing to like conservative to try it out with all my good passing players as well. And I had a goal, mate, where like 4 of them were edge of the box, one touch past each other. Same shot. It was quality. Aye. It was a really quick sequence. It was quite eye catching at the time. It's not really happened since, but
yeah,
might have been a coincidence. It didn't feel like it at the time, but oh no, guys, I'm gutted.
there's still good
One
time.
back.
Yeah, you definitely need one back now. Yeah.
Should
You're
in
out.
this. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Bodnanenko Mooney!
Come on.
He's like, get me back that captain's armband. Yes, Mooney!
Is he your usual captain now?
He's a 69 cam, and he's like one of the oldest guys in the team, and he's Scottish. And it makes him 71, which just makes him look a little bit better on the starting 11. But yeah, I just like him. He's Scottish and stuff as well. Long-haired cam with a bit of pace, bit of shooting, bit of passing, you know, a bit of a maverick.
No, don't do this.
Get away from me, Kazaniga. How's this guy getting around my defence so easy? Well done, Florek. Right, boys, we need to get to 90 here. Or counter. Oh.
If it goes to extra time, you need to pause it so I can get down and get an hour beer, Quinny.
Hi, no bother.
Right, pause it. I'll not be long.
Oh no, oh no. Oh no. Guys, thoughts and feelings. It's been a tight game, hasn't it? Can we look at some statistics? Oh, Bride's away to get his beer. 46% possession at home, guys. Oh, XG, we are losing. Shots 10-6 for him. This guy's got me nailed to the wall, by the way. He knows the tactics. My keeper's made 3 saves. He's made none. 8 corners versus 1. Jesus, 13 fouls for me. And 3 bookings, man. Yeah, this guy has had my number, hasn't he? He's had a few bookings early on. Kind of disrupting the balance of play. His wide players are doing good. That striker's having a bit of fun. The captain's not done anything. The keeper is susceptible. And all his guys are full fitness. That's a bit of a difference maker. Because a few of my guys, Nasser comes into the game on 90. Bodnarenko on 92. Tolentino 90. Molina, Maloney 87. And Castagno 92. So feeling a little bit maybe the effects the difference in the fitness maybe playing a bit of a part. But I was looking at the stats here, McBride. This guy's been all over me. Like
He's quite
shots,
a solid
XG.
team, but he has got
Yeah.
like solid 70s, and so
And no, I don't really play a high defensive line, guys, because my defenders are kind of slow. I don't really have a rapid set of defense. I don't play them super deep. I definitely don't play them high. Got to fancy Florek if it goes to pens. I hope so, mate. Polish goalies, they love penalties.
yeah.
It's like PSG and Liverpool. If you're calling me, I don't know what to take as an insult or a compliment. And in what way to take that, Nico, man? Who's PSG? Who's Liverpool? Oh, second half. This might go all the way to penalties, by the way.
Kind of looking that way at the moment. Never know though.
I
Maybe
fancy
it's
myself.
Yeah!
Yes!
What did
Barca! Oh, kill them when they're down. Captain's armband. Bodnarenko, summer signing. Making it happen. Oh, guys, we're doing it. We are going up. We are going up. Na 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 na. And it's squeaky bum time for 10 minutes.
Just preparing the Scottish celebration here, Quinny.
That's it.
Come on. This is worse than watching my games, huh?
I think so.
I haven't watched more than games, I think.
Oh, 3 minutes to go, guys. While we hang on. While we secure that promotion tonight. Oh, icing on the cake, boys. Icing on the cake. Pitch invasion. Let's get it. You ready to run on, McBride? Pitch invasion!
Get it up, yeah, up, yeah, up, yeah, up, yeah.
Nasser hat-trick.
I called it.
Yes! Come on, the Barcelona.
Go on the Barca.
Come on, the Barca. Hamada Nasser with a hattie. Love that.
Class.
Creative midfielders, both getting double decisive. Wee Mooney up there as well, chipping in. Oh,
Nasser's a
that.
banger, isn't he? Like that, like just doesn't surprise me at all. Like having played you in friendlies and stuff. I think that I played you in friendlies earlier on the season, and every single friendly I played you in, he scored. Every single one, like without fail, he scored in every game. Even when I was pumping you, he always scored. Like so.
Some wee guy, 91.
Aye, some player, man.
He's alright. I can't get him up a level, but because I'm playing in such a shit division.
Yeah.
Hamada would like to see faster growth if regular tested and the training's decent, but his teammates aren't quite good enough. So we need to lift the level. 35 goals he's finished on this season. That's incredible. 6 assists. Killing it. And he's got the golden boot. It's in the trophy bag already. Oh,
Nice.
oh. Nice wee man. Love that. Oh, look at that. Wee stone golden boot for Hamada.
Takes longer for 84 to 85 as well. They deliberately make it harder to protect the higher scarcities. So, like, it's going to take you a long time maybe to get him up to the legendary, just because obviously you're playing him in a lower division and stuff. Plus, it's a bit harder as well, eh? So,
yeah. Don't think I've had any progression over the last, like, I've looked at 7 days there, but even 24 hours, yeah, nothing there. I think all my progression's kind of done.
training's finished as well.
Ah, yeah.
So
let's check the old inbox. Yeah, Tolentino suspended. Oh, sold a wee guy for $2. That's fun. Rewards day. Season 3 rewards and trophies have now all been distributed. The store remains closed until rollover day. So that's the day everyone gets a year older. And yada yada. Contracts cancel and get set up for the next year and whatever. As a reminder, rollover date is, oh yeah, it explains it, is when players age by a year. We officially move into Season 4. This will be done by Tuesday. Today, point of recording, this is Friday, of course. Go fuck Friday, in case any of you missed that. Here's what you need to know. Pre-contracts, you can do that beforehand and then they kick in then. Auto renewals, if you want to cancel them, do it now. In case you missed it, Season 4, big changes to the ecosystem. So I got a wee bit of a bug, sorry. 40% increase in rewards and 2 new rarity tiers. So it's not really a change in the player dynamic, but they're just moving the fences so that like the lower scale players mean more to that level, so on and so forth, you know. So just a nice kind of recategorization kind of element there.
I think the other interesting thing, Quinny, is I seen somebody say earlier, I think set a limit in the amount of ice teams they're going to sell. So I think like they're nearly sold out. So I think what that means is then that there'll be another tier of like lower division below that, and that I think that's obviously why they've put in like the lower like scarcity. You know, you go to the common and then the limited. You know, because when you get like more teams in at lower level, then you're going to want like more commons or whatever. So they'll be able to release more packs or revisit and stuff. But
Yeah. And yeah, Nasser was in the chopping block earlier this season because he's such a high value card. It's like, can I maybe make my squad better? I toyed with that idea, but sentiment got the better of me and it's paid off. Big wee Hamada coming in, big style there. And Charzan Champ coming in here, breaking up your name, McBride, for full emphasis.
right,
So love to see that, mate. Aye. McBride Ace. So I read that. So love that Charzan. First
Monday is kaput.
Yeah, Caputi Monday.
Kaput.
Kaput.
He's kaput. He's out.
GG's good game, but yeah,
Ah, it was a
I'm
good
moving
game.
up. I'm moving up. That's what I was going to try and check. Did I get an assist award? I think one of my guys might have been in a sniff with it, but don't think they'd have quite got there. Oh, yeah, not quite. Tolentino. But yeah, look at the goalkeeper thing. This goalkeeper was like head and shoulders above everyone. Oh, pardon me, he was rated 77, which is pretty chunky for this level. And 75. Yeah, 69. I'm 71. 67. Yeah, it was all kind of like these guys, most of the opponents, and then I didn't realise this guy was so good, to be honest. The 75. And this
5'7". It's like GG Buffon.
5'9". 5'8". 5'9". Oh, I didn't notice that, but my guy. He's not progressed at all, has he? Or was he a 70 when I got him? Okay, he's progressed a wee bit. That's fine. Ah, I'm buzzing. Well set up.
Good stuff.
And so do I have an MFL balance to update now?
Should tell you in your HQ.
Oh yeah, 13k. Check me out.
Good stuff.
Check me out. And a bunch of people have been tackling me in friendlies, which is good fun. When you're on this as well, guys, no matter who you are, how old you're, anything like that, when you're on your Patreon, just go find match, and you can get a random friendly with anyone at any time. Doesn't affect your fitness, your contract statuses, or anything like that. Or you can even type in. Did I type in McBride for you? Do you come up?
No, mine's is hidden.
Oh, well, I'm not. You can find me.
Getting serious now.
And you can find your friends, challenge your friends, and all that. You can do randoms, whatever. But somebody was mentioning playing friendlies. Great way to, and again, I spoke about this quite a lot coming into my season one, but great way of like tweaking and refining and altering. And if you do want to hardcore onto Football Manager for like an hour or something, you can just sit and do friendlies and take maybe not notes on a bit of paper, but think, all right, okay, well, the left back was shite there. What was his tactics? Tweak them a wee bit. Play the same guy again. Go again. One thing I've found really good, and this is for anyone who's maybe going into their second season, is that I had a team last year that I couldn't beat in 2 matches in the cup, the head-to-head group stage thing. And his team was kind of similar to mine. I didn't think it was much better, but I was really surprised I could never beat him. I must have done about 6 friendlies with him coming into this season as like a sparring partner. I just felt like a good team to like pit myself against, that I wasn't going to be in a division with, so I wouldn't be revealing any secrets if they went and looked at the match footage for themselves. But I felt it was a good barometer for tweaks and any incoming moves I made and stuff like that. So the friendlies are going to be firing off, it feels like, probably for the next couple of days now, with anyone starting out. But we tip or we beginner thing there for anyone who's fitness should go back to 100 now. Yeah.
The reason I stopped playing the friendlies because like I had a guy in the cup and like basically he like you're not allowed to like play a friendly against somebody else you're in the same cup as, but he'd like other teams. So he like just started playing friendlies against me, but like, he plays a friendly against your current tactics, and I was like, no, I'm turning that off. Like I don't want him in my current tactics. I'm like working on my tactics, and like I think that like this season as well, like I was kind of a wee bit restricted. Like some of the stuff wasn't working, so I couldn't really vary up or like my sort of like tactics or my formations or whatever. So I felt like one of them wasn't working, so I was like, nah, I'm not playing friendlies. Like bugger it.
So see, one thing I like for that, I never really have had to deal with that to the same extent you've had there, but I always kind of leave the default tactic the way it is, and then see the way same way with Sorare teams, you maybe do your lineups like
Yeah.
for the weekend when I'll go through here and just kind of click through them and kind of maybe tweak it a little bit. So you could maybe even have like a kind of like a red herring default setting,
Mm,
you know, and then in your presets have like your actual first team, your rotation, your this, your that,
yeah.
to maybe watch that a little bit.
They're quite handy, those presets. Like, I really like them. The only like other thing as well is, and like obviously it's still in development. Like when you do the tactics, so like it's individual instructions, but it goes against the position. So like if you're going to like a rotation or whatever, you're going to put somebody else in. Then you've got to check like what your instructions are, because I've got like some guys who are good at dribbling and crap at shooting and stuff like that, and I just kind of tailor it a wee bit, you know. So all that type of stuff. But aye, you see, I got did I tell you the story about this, Quinny? Did you see it on Twitter? No. So I had two licenses to use, right?
Uh
So I
huh.
was going to do a Celtic Boys Club. So I went in and I paid the $80, and it came out and it was Paris. So I thought that's quite cool at Paris, like French company and stuff like that. So I'm going to do a Celtic Boys and I'll do it Paris. So I posted a thing on Twitter, and one of the guys messaged me and says, I really want Paris. I was like, I've just got it now. Like, I've just signed all my contracts that I'm doing, all my youth guys there. Can't really be bothered. And he offered me more. So I was like, do you know what? I'll just do it and I'll just have another whirl at the license. So he bought sent me an offer and bought Paris. So I went in and I bought another license. I got a random license and I got Glasgow.
Oh, lovely.
Unbelievable. Like, I just went all the way around and it was like UK, and I was like, I'm going to get some like English city now
Manchester.
for
Yeah.
Celtic boys that come in as Glasgow. So I've got a Celtic boys nice under Glasgow. Unbelievable.
That's buzz. It's funny how one good turn deserves another that way, eh?
So it's like the guy was like, look, I love like buying. Well, he gave me more than what I paid for the license, right? So I made a profit, but and I was thinking, well, I could get another random license and buy another player for my club. So that's kind of stupid not to take it. But he was like, I buy all the Paris licenses. I was like, Joe, I'll just give you it. You know, like doesn't mean as much to me. Obviously, I could have had freaking Manhattan or whatever, and it would have been the same sort of feeling for me. You know, but I wild. So there we go.
So I guess rollover day is the day we get the development centre boys back.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And the store's still closed at the moment. But with my little bounty of MFL, I could get a wee pack.
I think let's put it back up again. They've changed the prices now as well, haven't they? So there's going to be like limited. Is it? Yeah, they've
Ah,
changed the
yeah.
price.
Like
There'll
the
be a
bottom
limited
one is
one.
going to be like, it's pennies, isn't it? I think the bottom one is going to be like a few hundred MFL, which is like £1 or something. A
Yeah,
dollar maybe. Yeah, they have tweaked it also. I think the shop will actually look totally different once it opens again then, won't it?
I think the uncommon and the rare and the legendary prices are okay, but I think you get like a limited for like 3,000, and the uncommons go down to like pennies, but then you'll be under 55s or something then. So sounds like we're talking about a party with Wayne Rooney here, doesn't it, with these ages?
Aye,
But
for sure.
yeah, it's going to change a wee bit down there. I mean, theoretically, with that, you could get like, you could sort of buy a guy and do some development centre stuff, or you could get a player and then get another limited or something in now as well. You know, a couple of commons just to see if you like pull somebody that's young or whatever you can develop, or just use a squad player or something. So
Yeah. Aye, so it's going to be a busy, busy off season for me. When's your kick-off?
I think it's in about 20 minutes. I think. Let me
Ooh,
see.
maybe. Happy to stick that on screen for still. Well, yeah, should still be here about 20 minutes. Um,
Yeah, 9:30.
Aye, give that a shot. Want to buy my striker, Rico man? Who is your striker? I don't know. I'd be on my bench, so maybe, but it's not something I'll be hyper over. It's fun that I've sold this week. I've sold a few guys for a wee couple of quid. So I've got a wee cash balance. It won't be much, maybe like $9 for selling four guys. And part of my strategy this year was see that development centre batch was just to maybe make a few of them a bit more appealing to sell for like $3 because some of them were quite guff. This scarcity change thing might help them a little bit with the extra division of the players a wee bit. So I'm actually quite interested to see how much hustling I can do with loans and stuff like that. Some sales, perhaps.
Yeah, you're going up a division now as well, so it'll be a bit more difficult, obviously. So, you've got some good players. Like I think you maybe just need to beef it up a bit, like
It's just
fill in
super
some of
thin.
those gaps.
Aye, I kind of can't do. I can't do cup and league the way things are sitting right now. Even like it's hard to imagine I'd be able to do that without really pushing the boat out in this window. I'm kind of happy to. I kind of want my main guys to stay my main guys. You know, I've had them for 3 seasons, most of them, not all of them. Some guys need to move by the wayside. Oh, by the way, I had to play a defensive mid at centre back in that game as well. I forgot because my number one centre back was injured, and the number two centre back Quintana. I just thought, I don't want to risk you. I'll put Big Will, who normally plays CDM, who got kicked out by this guy Molina, who I brought in on loan. I thought I'll put Big Will in there. And yeah, that's probably what helped hold me back in that game, perhaps. But we got the job done. I know I'm quite buzzing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure there's anything else to kind of click about and look at, but loads of progression. There's nothing else coming out. Development centres and all that. We've got our trophy for Nasser. That was fun to see. And yeah,
41
season
points,
3
not
was a
bad.
success.
Yeah, Southern Fire must have been pretty good, eh? It's only like 116 games
Goals.
out of 20 is pretty good. So
He didn't beat me once. I think I
no,
beat him both times, like 1-0. Really tight games, or something like that. You know, it's quite. I was ahead of him, and then I just dropped a couple of points. You see, I drew 5 times. Rotation kind of really hurt me to just seal the deal. But he just didn't concede goals, man. He just didn't. You know, he scored 65 as well, which I scored 68. It was as if he was mad defensive.
yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but we
Good to
step
go
up
for.
against Iron as well. I mean, I don't know. It depends what path you're in and stuff like, but you'll come up against some good teams there as well. So
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not expecting to go straight up into this one. How much did he give away? 10%. So that's a lot of his own squad probably. Big goalkeeper. Look at this. Defense is kind of minging for the level. Like it's not bad, but what are you averaging out here? 69 to 70. Not
yeah,
amazing. Midfield again. Look at this. High is a 74. Which isn't bad. Certainly, it's probably quite good, and then it's a good striker. Fair, but especially with the defensive record. Like he's got. And you see this batch of guys.
must have been playing like 5-3-2 or something. Or what was it playing? Do you know?
See some splash cup thing he's got here. I'll put him on this. I think he played like 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3 in this, or 4-4-2 in this game. That's a bit of a change, I think. I don't think he played that against me. Condra would have been a big match. Let's see what he did there. 4-4-2, yeah, I maybe remember.
Yeah.
I thought the midfield had 3 in it. Maybe he just did that against me. Because he's been playing Tatos Villa as well, friend of the channel. Good to see that. It's a fun logo, mate, as well. I like what you've done with that.
I recognise that from his Twitter one.
Yeah, Wayne's a good guy. Managed to beat Wayne when I went to the Aston Villa match, so
Stuff.
there's always somebody I remember quite quickly. Yeah, like I hammered this guy 3-0 in this game. Oh no, he hammered me. Sorry.
5-4-1.
Yeah, look at this shape. Totally different.
Yeah.
He did play like this against me.
I
Yeah,
know
this
what.
Patsy, mate. This guy, I genuinely watched him nutmeg one of my players in this engine. Like I could tell that he nutmegged the guy. Like it was like he was on fire. 6'5" as well. Wow, didn't quite notice that at the time. 87 dribbling. He did. I'm telling you, he did a nutmeg. Chumpatsy, it was just one of those names. Oh, there he is. There he is. I did say I thought it was Unique Bride last week, but it was Charlie. But Nep, good to see you, mate.
Hello,
Actually
mate.
in the stream this time rather than just as we're all going to our
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, I cried myself to sleep that night. I was savage as hell,
I
man.
felt so bad, mate. Literally, you know, it's like when you're like, "Oh, this is away" and all that. It's literally just a way to go and get fed and stuff. I felt really bad for about 20 minutes. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
should
Oh,
probably
20
stay
minutes. Is
on."
that it? Damn.
No, you know what I mean. But like, I felt like I felt super crummy afterwards. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, you
Good to
should have
see
done, man. That was honestly. I was thinking, like, I clicked on the link today. I was like, man, I hope Quinny's not there.
You don't mind me saying as well, mate, your pad's looking pretty swish. Have you changed up the lights or you just put the big light
No,
on?
so you see where that carpet is there? That's where my desk was like last week.
Oh.
And so when I first like got this office, it was here where I'm at now, but you can't see all the stuff behind. And I've spent like a lot of money and a lot of time kind of like really making that nice. So I decided to move the desk way back. But it creates like a real big void in the office of space that's like wasted. And so I put it all back to where it was, and yeah, now I'm just back here. So it's the same spot really, just about 5 foot difference on the floor.
Oh, no, fair enough. It's just with the lighting as well. It does look like you.
Yeah, because you can see these ones now where they were hidden before. Yeah.
Giving me studio flashbacks. I had to move desks and cameras a few times, and I feel your pain with that. You want everyone to see what you've put up and how you've organised it and the effort you've put in for it.
Yeah.
But where the camera sits, you're like, I can't even.
Yeah. Oh, even this camera now, it's slightly off tilt, like a real little bit, and it bothers me loads because I can see it, but other people can't unless I point it out. So, yeah, there we are.
Tatos is in the chat as well. Good to see you.
Good
How
old
have you
Wayne,
gone
mate.
with MFL tonight? You had some stuff on the go, or did you get promotion guaranteed?
I got promotion guaranteed on the last day of the season. Thanks to McBride Ace as well. I know he's been like shouting me out and stuff in one of the discords there, in the Ramble Discord, like doing the nice stuff for me. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I earned like about 11,000 MFL. I got into the knockout stages of that Splash Cup, which was quite surprising and good. And then I went and bought another club today because we got the free pack with the club. So I've got 5 clubs now and not got a fucking clue how to fill them with players because I haven't got enough. So, yeah, it's going to be an expensive few days, I think, when the season rolls over.
I was going to say, man, you've quickly got that network of clubs firmly up and running.
Yeah.
Clubs, man, jeez.
This game's too good, man. This is like just everything I wanted out of gaming, you know?
Football Manager is like crack, you know, like
Yeah.
because it's pure immersive, and especially with this as well. I've seen the McBride earlier. I started watching your first MFL video, but it was getting me like fired up to like make a video. So I was like, I better just put this on ice, and I'll finish it when I'm then ready to kind of record something like this. I don't know if you've ever had that, but
Oh
when
yeah.
something gets your juices flowing, you don't want to kind of waste it or whatever. But I had a great time for the first like 10-15 minutes, and you were talking about something in there that just sparked off in my head, and then with me kind of passing that on to you there, I've totally derailed myself. But
Take a minute.
yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Take a minute.
I've just derailed, sorry.
That's the antibiotics, Quinny, because you've been no well this week.
Mate, I was up to 4 in the morning last night. I took my last like dose of like steroids or whatever, like a little bit too late, and I was just.
What are you on steroids for? If you care to share.
I've been a bit ill, and it's a chest infection, so
Okay.
they give you steroids to fucking kick all the junk out you. You know,
Not
basically.
not quite on the same level, but my alarm had an issue 2 nights ago, and at 22 minutes past the hour, every hour, it would just go off.
Oh,
and so
fuck that.
I slept on the sofa in the room next to where the alarm is, and like 1:22 a.m. I'm up turning the alarm off. 2:22 a.m. I'm up turning the alarm off. It was a fucking nightmare, man. Like,
And what was that, a phone or like an alarm clock?
no, like an actual like my house alarm. So obviously
wow.
I don't want to wake the neighbors up, and I don't want to wake my family up. So I had to be like ready for it as soon as it was going. So I set my phone alarm to wake me up a minute before I knew my house alarm was going to go off, and they couldn't send anyone to fix it until like the morning. So yeah, the whole night, every hour on the hour, pretty much, I was like fucking standing there by my alarm, ready to put the cone in to just turn the alarm off. So yeah, fucking nightmare, but here we are.
That's like a proper mixture of like torture and like a social experiment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
That happened with mine as well. I had like it was my batteries had run out, but what happened was it wasn't the same time. So like I was just like, it would go off at like 4 in the morning. I'd phone somebody or whatever it come, and it's like, but it didn't happen for like 2 days. And then like 2 nights later, it went off at like 2 in the morning. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, fucking, you're going to just like, but it was like
The sensor batteries, right?
What's that?
Was it the sensor batteries?
Aye.
Yeah, that's what it was for me in the end as well, yeah.
It's like wired into the house. It's like,
Yeah.
what difference does it make? You know, you've got electricity, but it's like, oh, it's warning you it's running out of battery. So it's plugged in, mate. It, like fucking wake me up at 2 in the morning. But I was just I was going off at like weird times and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, honestly. But was there like that every hour thing? That's a nightmare. But it'd be like you'd be sleeping and it'd be like you just randomly go off and you're like, right, is somebody breaking in? Or I was like,
Yeah, you'd assault with like a baseball bat next to your bed, or
I would walk down the stairs and they would just get scared of my face and fuck off out the house. So it's like, nah.
I didn't. You know, I always thought, right? Like, there's this thing. I know I'm derailing whatever you guys were talking about before, but like, there's like, it's like scientifically proven. Like, if you're in an altercation and you throw something to someone, not at them, to something to them, they will just instinctually try and catch it. And so you just have an advantage. So it's like, if ever you're against, if ever somebody like invades your house or whatever, first of all, just turn the lights off because they don't know their way around your house and you do. So that's great for you. But second of all, just throw them something to catch. And you see them like scramble. But I thought to myself, like, if somebody ever broke into my house, I would just try and piss on them. Do you know what I mean? Like, because who wants that? Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine like somebody's like, where's the jewelry? And you're like, just pull it out and just start pissing on them. They would run a fucking mile, wouldn't they? Like, blame McBride for bringing this in. I don't know. That's his fault.
Yeah, I think I get a story about that. It was with my uncle. So one night he was drunk and he needed the toilet, but he was so drunk he woke up during the night. And instead of going to the toilet, he pissed a man his knickers drawers.
Oh dear.
He opened the drawer, just peed in the drawer instead. There we go. Sorry for lowering the tone there, but like, there we go.
I was wondering about that. Attacking them with piss. I was wondering how that was going to out, but no, I've never thought of that. I've never really thought about being burgled or anything like that too much. I love the whole like getting somebody to catch thing. I don't know if I've heard that somewhere before, but when you mentioned that, I was getting like flashbacks to like the Born Identity or something. And Matt Damon
maybe where he's like, throws,
and
and
then all the different weapons and stuff like that. Those kind of guys were using and stuff. So, that sounds like a good one. I've always been I don't mind sharing this. I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't know. But I went to Indonesia for work. I can't really go into that in too much detail while I'm on the internet. But I went to Indonesia for work for like an adventure. Let's say for a while ago. It was like 13 years ago or so. Anyway, I returned with I probably should say this on the internet. I'm going to do it anyway. But I returned with a bona fide, like, I've still got it. It's got stamps and stuff like that on it. Police issue, Indonesian, of course, springkosh, like a proper metal bat thing,
Okay.
So I've just always had that in my possession. So I've never really. Once I had that, I was like, I feel quite safe now. Just make sure it's always close to the bed or something. So yeah, it helps me cheap out on house alarms.
In case somebody breaks in, Quinny, and steals your biscuit tin.
My house is maybe less of a prime target than maybe yourselves, granted, but yeah. And some people in the chat talk about Dobermans and all the rest of it. We started off with McBride's baseball bat and ended up with Nep getting the wanger out. So yeah.
I suppose I should start working on my aim actually, shouldn't I? Do you know what I mean? Make sure I've got the kind of like distance available. Nothing worse than pulling out when you get robbed and just pissing on your feet,
Or not having any piss.
Yeah, that'd be a problem as well. Yeah, I should go to bed fully loaded, shouldn't I?
Yeah. I could be the middle of the night, you'll need a pee. When do you ever wake up in the morning and not need a pee? Come on.
All the time.
Yeah. For sure. I never thought we would get into this, but that was quite a fun one. Big time. I was trying to remember what I derailed myself on in the first place, but it's totally.
You said you was watching the video, the MFL video. I picked up a few clubs.
You picked up a few clubs.
And then you thought about your juices started flowing, so you went and made your video.
I was getting hyped. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, I think I was thinking about Football Manager and how like, oh, that was it. That was it totally. Because it's not just it's the Football Manager element on MFL that we've all kind of tapped into in previous life and really enjoy, but the agency element of it is like a game in itself, like a next level game in itself, And the fact that you don't really need to choose what you're doing. You're just kind of doing all of it to a greater or lesser extent, depending on what you're up to. It's like, it's almost like totally, I don't even know what would finish it for me, but there's definitely like a little part of the full like circle of it could maybe be plugged in a little bit. Like, I remember talking to Math before about like, the potential of like, hiring your pal to be your sport director or hiring your pal to be your scout and that kind of thing. So maybe that's something I've just got in the back of my head right now, but that's like a huge part of the innovation of this game that I really like as well, because some of the players I'm quite attached to, and if I keep getting promoted, I won't have them all for ages, but I can still have them and like farm them out essentially, So like can have your cake and eat it in a wee way, which is fun.
Yeah. One of my friends used to be a content creator, and he's like moved on now, but he's got into MFL massively. And I think he bought a rare pack off of Floaty, and the player he got, he's just now loaned out to Diamond League for 5% for the next season, and he's just gassed. He's like, this is so sick, because as long as they don't get relegated, and even if they do, he'll get 5% of like, hundreds of thousands of MFL. And it's like, it's nice. And I'm sitting here with like my 10K, and in the Discord today, everyone's kind of sharing their spoils. And I'm like, I'm very jealous of what people have got, but this is my first season in. Next season, I'll have at least 5 clubs. And I'm thinking, if I could start raking in like 40, 50,000, every part of me is like, just save it and then get a real sick pack and get one good player. But no, I'm just going to open those 600 MFL packs over and over and over. Because if you get that 96, 94, 92 rated card that starts off low, you're just eating, aren't you? It's just going to be so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love that approach. And I thought about you when I seen that on the timeline this week. I don't know if you'd have seen it as well, McBride, but the first guy that's went from common to the top that they've got on record.
Yeah.
That was sick to see. 6 seasons, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't much, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, we're only getting into season 4, so progression-wise, it only started in season 1. So even though like an older player only started progressing like in like December.
Yeah.
This is like March, so it's pretty wild.
I was surprised how quick the season went. When I heard the 6-week seasons, I was like, that's going to feel like a fucking age. And it just didn't. I was like, oh my days, like this has sped through. Like we're at the end of, because when you get into like that end of the season, especially if you've got something to play for, if you haven't got something to play for, maybe it feels like a drag. But when you've got something to play for, you're like, every day I'm checking in and logging in and like watching every game. And like, if I start late, I'm like, right, I'm not even going to log in now. I'll wait till the game finishes and then go and watch the replay so I don't like spoil it for myself or whatever. And then I started watching like a few of my pals' games as well. Like, and I've kind of got attached almost like a supporter of their clubs. And I'm like, I just want them to do well. And I'm like, the fact that I feel this, I know that people will love this. Do you know, like people will start supporting clubs properly and create fandom around them. And that's where something like MFL can just take off like something crazy,
That's literally what we were doing. Quinny was putting his playoff game on and we were sitting watching it and giving it pelters to the other guy. And like, you were 1-0 down, then 2-1 down, then he scored, it was extra time, and then he scored 2 goals in extra time. And we were like,
loving life.
Aye.
How did you guys get on with your seasons?
So I finished second, won my playoff. I'm going up.
Let's go
tonight.
Nice.
McBride's is on in 5 minutes. We might.
Mine starts just now. I'm going to go and get another. Quinny, your mic's a wee bit low. Is it just me that's here?
Yeah, it is a bit low,
moving
yeah.
position and stuff. Sorry, I'll check it's the right mic, but
Must be your steroids. Ruined your throat.
and yeah, I'm not on. I'm on like 5 out of 6 cylinders, maybe 4 out of 6.
Yeah, mine starts in 5 minutes. So if you want to fire that up on screen, I'm just going to go and grab an RB and we'll. It's a bronze league
If you
player.
do share screen, I'll fire it on. Or me do it on this.
Yeah, you can watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just put it up on yours, couldn't you? Like, just go into it's I changed the name to O Vienna.
Well, that's going to be easy to find.
Right.
I'll wait for you to come back and do share screen. Sounds easier.
You want me to just share it?
Aye.
Right, okay. Go and get a beer.
Do you come back? Aye, especially changing names and stuff. It's hard enough to dig them up at the best of times.
I was thinking there when you was both talking, and you pretty dense Scottish accents, and my granddad walked from Scotland down to like London to be a coal miner, like with the coal miners from Scotland. So I've got like quite heavy Scottish heritage. Not that it sounds like it, but yeah. So that's pretty fun. So because I always wonder, like I've got a lot of like Scottish like friends, especially within the industry. I'm like, I wonder why I gravitate towards Scottish people, and it must just be like, just something in me that's like, just love the Scots, yeah, my people.
And that's cool. As soon as you started off saying he walked to London, I thought it was going to be like a charity thing you're going to set me up for here, or
no,
for like one of those mad stories. I don't know who it was, but I used to hear this guy on the radio used to come up with mad stories, and this one guy walked from like Ben Nevis to London because somebody dared him to in the pub or something. So I thought it might have been some mad story like that, maybe, or something. But
yeah, no, not quite that.
To work the minds, that's a graft.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, but so like it goes grey now. But back in the day, my beard used to go ginger because like my uncles
Copper,
and stuff
black
were.
bullet.
Is that right? I'm like, it's brown, guys. I'm like, if you actually just pull out one hair, you'll see it is brown. Like when it's mixed in with the black, it looks ginger. You know, like, but no, fully. It's yeah, because you guys were you almost even though you're speaking English, you're almost speaking like different language when you speak Scottish to each other. You know? Like,
I totally get that, right? Because I know what it's like when I start speaking fast. I can kind of hear how that would be hard to follow. And I hear everyone saying that when they hear two Scottish people talking, but I really still don't get it. Like, I'm like, how can you not get half of it? You know,
so
like,
so
it's
living
the year, isn't
the
it?
pub that I used to run in central London, the guy that lived literally next door, like to the pub, he was Scottish, and he was like, I don't know where he was from. His name was Bart, and he had the densest Scottish accent. He had been living in London since he was like 19 years old, and I knew him in his like 50s, and he hadn't picked up the London or English accent whatsoever. And he'd be like, and I'm like, I haven't got a fucking clue what you just said, man. Like, you're gonna have to slow down for me. And like, I'd known him for like 10 years, and I'm like, Bart, I haven't got a fucking clue what you're saying, man. And I know you're speaking English, but I don't know what you're saying. Please slow down. And he'd just say it again, and I'd be like, we had this other guy that was like also Scottish, and it literally translate like Scottish English into English for me, so I could understand what he wanted.
Can you see my screen now? Yeah.
Yeah. I think with that, I don't know about you, McBride, right? But see if I go to England, especially if I'm alone, or no, let me start again. If when I was younger, if I was in England, semi by myself, maybe with a group of people you maybe know a little bit, you're there for something. Especially when you get drunk, your accent just goes up a gear almost. You know, like I can remember. I'm telling a few stories. I should probably put out there. But I remember one night I was in Plymouth. Right, I don't know if you've ever been for a night out in Plymouth.
I was in Plymouth last weekend, yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know what it's like now or what you were there for. Obviously, different time of life and all that. But I was there when I was 21 and hitting the nightclubs and all that. And it's a good night out. It's a big university town. And there's a port and stuff like that, you know. So it's just prime for partying and drinking and all that. And anyway, Street Crime UK were there filming on the streets and shit when I was coming.
That's where I've seen you before. I'm joking.
Well, they didn't see me that night, right? But that night I literally got into a fight, and it was literally and I remember still thinking of this being drunk. Primary defence 1. You were talking about pissing on the burglar. For a Scottish person, it's be more Scottish. So, step 1 is get angrier and be harder to understand. That's step 1, and then hope that saves you. And if it doesn't, you're swinging. And I ended up doing that with 2 guys, and it didn't go well for me at all. Like I got absolutely leathered. But
Hey, Quinny, it's the game starting.
my mind. Let's get it, McBride. Let's get it. Montreal Forest. We're going to chop them down.
Yeah.
That's
And then
good,
and they'll say sorry at the end of it.
That's got a bit hard game.
Apollo Sports Group. That's a big account.
What's can you click on the third dot, please, next to formation for each team?
This one.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, the second one. Yeah,
I was gonna say, why
oh,
do you want
and
that
then
one?
scroll down a slight touch. What's the one that shows like your average overalls? Yeah, I think it is the third one actually. Yeah, there you go.
That one, yeah.
Ooh, nice detail. I've never caught that one.
Yeah, there you go. Your slight favourites, I'd say.
Yeah.
Do we know if home and away has any advantage at all?
It feels like it.
It does feel like it for me as well, but I wasn't sure if it was like something confirmed or not.
Yeah. You can maximize the screen as well, can you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking.
But and I said this to Matt already. When you're in this screen, there's a lot of like real estate there that's not being used that could have the stats and the match ratings and the player ratings and stuff like that. Like, would be nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, that's 1-0.
Even the old school 2D fans that just
Yeah.
you know, like.
Do you guys notice as well? Do you score most of your goals with like near post shots?
Ooh. I don't know if I've thought about that detail. Hard to answer. Near post shots.
I would say like a lot of my goals come from the exact position McBride was in there, where you kind of like coming in at that 45-degree angle and just shooting across keeper. Yeah.
I think a lot of the 1-on-1s have not been so good this season. Like, I think that's like been quite difficult.
Yeah.
Interception, this could be good. Oh, he's giving it away. No way.
Yeah, that angle right there. Oh, what a tackle that is.
Yeah, big fan of life.
They need to start adding, don't they? Error led to goal, like
Aye.
tackle and stuff, don't they?
Well, I had a huge error led to goal in my game. We were calling that. I would just get some extra buy-in, wouldn't it, from the Sorare crossover, you know?
And then, like, you know, many moons down the road, having like a proper fantasy setup so other people can, like, you know, have the fantasy element of your players.
That's just Inception now, Nep, isn't it?
Mate, it's just it's like, and that's what I mean with Web3 gaming.
MFL cards.
Like, yeah, do you know what I mean? But with Web3 gaming, that's where it can go, isn't it? Because they're NFTs. Like the use cases there.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. Like, it's just the start of the engine as well. I think I joined in season 1, but obviously I've been around for like a year and a half, and like at one point I never even had this engine or whatever either, you know. So like,
yeah,
you know, it's just like generated something you couldn't see it in this level. So
the club that I bought today, I got like the nation and stuff come up, and it came up as like England, which was great. And I got like Milton Keynes, which is good because it's like very close to where I was like grew up. And it was club number 3000, and I thought that's legit. Like I'm really happy. That was the most impressive thing. So yeah, that was my story.
Come on,
oh, this is goals. This is goals.
Come on, Oliva.
Yeah, there you go. Oh!
The big man's 90 for finishing as well. See what I mean about the bloody one-on-ones and stuff? Like,
Joe, the one thing that upsets me the absolute most about how this match engine is they never do cutbacks.
Yeah,
the amount of like
that's actually in the I've noticed in the because they run the that like splash thing that's on the new engine.
Oh, okay.
So you'll probably notice some differences. Cause I had a guy like went through and just squared it, and I was like, "Oh, I've never seen that." before.
Yeah. Normally, like sometimes I'm like, "Please, just pass it."
Yeah,
and he's like, he tries to chip the keeper. I'm like, "You fuck!" Like, that's it. You're out of the team next game.
I said to McBride, I definitely agree that there's not enough cutbacks in that, but I said to McBride, I toyed a lot with conservative passing, and I got maybe not quite cutbacks, but I definitely got much more like no fucking about in the final third sometimes.
Come on, the boys.
So maybe set your like strikers to the conservative. Yeah, that's the angle. Man, that's terrible.
Yeah, because I had 2 up front, and my other guy who's 76, still really good for the division, but his passing is dog shit, and the other guy's passing is like halfway decent. So with him, I was just telling him, don't you do anything. If you get the ball, just make sure give it to somebody else if you're not shooting.
Put him on direct.
Aye, exactly. It seemed to work. Me, wait a sec, you were swinging with 2 guys. Well, they were swinging me for a bit.
That's an exciting 0-0, isn't it? Like,
you've had a few chances. They've had a few chances actually. They've missed a few sitters, haven't they?
Yeah. 2 good teams, but I mean, like this level, like can go either way. Go on now.
Yeah, that's bad.
Not a chance.
Yeah. There you go. That's the angle. That's the angle. That's a goal shot. So is this for promotion?
Yeah, this is to go into silver.
And if you lose this, you get another shot tomorrow.
Yeah, you play a team that come third. So,
yeah.
But then you need to beat a team that come third, and then the winner of that plays a team that came 9th in silver.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
So no, don't do it.
What a ball!
Keeper.
Mate, I came second for assists in my league and second best goalkeeper. I was like well pissed because I don't get any trophies for that. But that trophy though for winning the Ice League hits different in the manager profile, doesn't it? I'm like looking at it like, that's all right. That is, yeah.
I've not got any trophies yet for.
Come on, Quinny.
Trophies, but I've not got. Do you get promotion trophies?
Right, let's get a second here. Come on, lads.
I've not won a league, so I shouldn't have them. But
exactly.
That's a ball.
I played well enough anyway, so like the boys are pretty good, but.
And this takes you to silver, did you say?
Yeah. And obviously now the MFLs went up, it makes a big difference as well because you get 38k MFL for coming bottom of silver.
Wow.
So like it's
what's do we know the like team ratings yet for the divisions?
The
minimum team rating, sorry.
I'm not sure, no. I know they've mentioned that, but I don't know if any specifics out or anything like so.
I'm looking forward to the new division being added because that's got to be real soon, right? There's only like less than 100 clubs left now for ice.
Yeah.
Because I think A, those clubs will be a bit cheaper, so the cost of entry will be a bit cheaper for new players. But B, all these like 44, 45 rated piles of shit that I've got will probably have somewhere to play.
Right, come on, boys. Let's finish it.
Oh, that's a big miss, isn't it?
Big Felix.
Wow, Felix, is that, yeah? Like the Joao Felix.
Come on, boys. Hold out.
That's easy dubs, that is. That's wins.
Yes.
Well done, buddy. Well done.
Oh, silver it is.
You ready, Quinny?
Shift our faces.
Oh. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Yes.
Nellis invited me on the Man City coach after Man City won the treble, like Champions League and all that, like 2 or 3 years ago. And so like you're on the coach and you're going through Manchester and all that. And at one point, the traffic stopped and like the streets were lined with fans. It was mental. You maybe remember the Jack Grealish picture. It was pissing with rain as well, and everyone was just pissed, and it was raining, and everybody was just kind of going for it. It was good vibes. But anyway, the traffic kind of stopped, and I've got a video of it somewhere, but I'm leaning over the side of the bus and see what you just did, McBride. I was doing that to all the Man City fans. I was going off the edge of the bus. I was going, whoa. And I got all them to do it. They were all going, whoa. But they didn't know what the punchline was. So when I got to the kind of crescendo of the whoa, it's da-da-da-da, you do this. I was the only one doing it. Everyone else had stopped. So like, this whole pavement of people. Just got a wee flashback there. But I was going to put this comment on screen and I had to move our faces so I didn't totally take off Nep's camera. But I thought this was great from Stocky Scott. Can imagine Nep being on the podium for Sorare MFL and finding out the guy that can knock him off has his keeper. So decides to give his keeper a rest instead.
I would never. I would never.
Not for the integrity of the game.
Nah, mate, definitely.
Oh, WH1988 says they have released the minimum ratings.
There you go.
I wasn't too sure if I'd seen that in the blog, but
I didn't see it in the blog, yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was like just an overview. I'm not sure if there's been a detailed thing because it's like you've got 5 players that don't need to count as well. There was some detail that was like will be coming next kind of thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't complete the first time, but maybe that was there. So good catch, WH1988. But yeah, I'm quite hopeful as well for that new next level coming in. Maybe some of the fodder I've got maybe becomes a bit more useful as well. But season 4, I'm hyped for it. It feels like everyone who's been playing the game has had a good experience with it, and that's all anyone's kind of after, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. I'm buzzing with that.
That's promotion.
I'm always sleeping now. Wife will be fed up with me in about an hour and a half's time. Like, got to shut up.
You and your daft computer games.
I know. Do you guys talk to your other halves about like this sort of stuff? No. So wait, when your wife walks past, is she like, "What the fuck are you doing with headphones on and talking to a microphone?"
Nah, she's kind of over it now. Like my missus is like me and my missus are chalk and cheese. We're one of those couples, like yin and yang kind of style. And yeah, she just has zero interest in anything football related or anything I've been doing. And it's been weird because obviously I've really pushed myself into this over the last couple of years. And yeah, that's just been a weird experience as well because also she doesn't... It's a bit different now, right, or over the last year or two, but in her head, I do not work. Like I am, I am not working ever.
Yeah.
In her mind, I am always available to do stuff. I am never inconvenienced or, anything like that. And if I'm knackered, I had some day of the day I had to do a bunch of this and a bunch of that. It's like, shut up,
Yeah.
So yeah, no crossover, no stories, no. Oh, how did that get on? Or
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, McBride?
You could have just like ended that sentence at "Do you speak to your wife?" Nah, I'm only kidding. Like I've always been a bit of a kind of sports nut, so like there's always some sort of sports on the TV and things. So finding my wife's got knowledge of like who's moved to Ferrari for F1 and Celtic and like it's just all that sort of stuff. So she's not really interested in sports, but just to have some sort of interest now because it's on the TV all the time. But the wee man's only 7 as well, so he's always not really been interested in sports and stuff. But like he was on his like Kindle earlier, and it's like it's like, and it's a goal, it's 1-0. It's like, yes, that's him. He's getting in it, like. But it's just be a process of like how long it's going to take until he starts getting it. Like, I think it was a Celtic game, and when we scored and stuff, we were all holding him up in the air and everything. And he was all delighted, and he was like, he's looking for us to do it again. It's like, we've not scored, pal. It was kind of like, so you need to wait like another 20 minutes or whatever. So like you can see, it's just kind of getting into it. So.
Yeah, my son's not really into it too much. Like he's been playing at the school football grounds, and then my local team, Wimborne, I took him there for like they had like trials. And he run around a lot, but he's just shit at football, right? Like he's only 7 as well. He was 6 at the time. And I came away from that thinking, there's no way they're picking him for this team. He didn't touch the ball in the whole hour trial, but he got picked. And the reason why he got picked is because he was running the whole hour, chasing and trying. And like, his athleticism was there. And so for like a dad, I was like, that is so sick. Like that they've picked him, even though he didn't touch the ball. I thought that was sick. And then he didn't really keep going to it, and he didn't like it, and he wasn't like massive on football. But this last couple of weeks, like for World Book Day yesterday, he went in as Lionel Messi because he's got a book. And like he's really started to get into it the last couple of weeks specifically. And today, after he got in from school, he sat next to me there, and he was like playing FIFA, and he played AI on amateur, and he smashes it like 10 goals or whatever. Played on beginner, wins like 2 or 3-0. So I said, like, play on semi-pro, and if you can win this, you could do some of my games for like my content and stuff. And he beat them on penalties, and he was like fully like cheering his goals, and like he was like well into it, and like, we was playing a little bit of football in the kitchen, and he's like fully like, oh, we're doing a 50-50 tackle, Dad, and I'm like just picking him up by the scruff of the neck, like 50-50. So this is me, but it's like I can see it, like you're saying there, McBride. I can see it now. He's like something's changing in him where he's getting into it, and it's really good because. When Arsenal played Man City, not this season, but last season, we won 1-0 at the Emirates with like a Martinelli goal, like 84th minute, whatever. So I took him. Sorare gave me some tickets. I took like my brother-in-law, his 2 sons, my father-in-law, and my son. And at halftime, he's like, Dad, this is too loud. I want to go. I was like, all right. So I just walked out of the stadium at halftime. As we're like back on the tube away from like Arsenal Stadium, I can hear the roar of the goal from like 3 miles away, and I'm like, for fuck's sakes, I've just missed like I don't like like I tried to explain to Ryan like, oh, Daddy's missed the goal. He's like, what does that mean? I'm like, no, nothing. Like what can I say, man? He's 5 years old at the time. Like, what can I say? But yeah, he hated that. But now he's always like, Dad, like, when could we go to another game? I remember that game. Like, yeah, that was sick. And I'm like, you fucking hate it. I don't always say it to him, but in my head, I'm like, you hated it, you little shit. You ruined my day. But yeah, it's the kids are fascinating, aren't they?
Aye.
Yeah.
The memories you make from it as well. Even the kind of like I've had similar stories. I don't forget into Dad ever on this one, but I've had similar with my kids, because when my kids were born, I wasn't doing content. I was a coach, so I was like on my B license or I had my B license. I was doing stuff and whatever. And all the chat I used to get from people all the time was, I bet you're going to get him into football. I bet you're going to make him a baller, aren't you? And all that. And I've always just been, I've actually been the opposite with my kids, where I've just like, if I'm watching football, like I'm watching football, you don't need to. You can go play toys or pick your nose or something,
Yeah.
And the most famous football player in my house is Takeover. You would probably be surprised to learn, My kids know way more about Real Sociedad than like Sociedad are on in this house every week, and it's been a really painful season. But my missus thinks Takeover was like Ronaldo level.
Oh
Because
yeah.
every time he does something, he's always on the telly. Or if I put the game on, I'm like, oh, boys, there's Takeover, like, because it's a wee funny name that they've all remembered, and he's quite a character and all that. But my son's been playing for a while, and I felt that like it was a wee bit of trying to get in, like a wee bit maybe you in the FIFA thing a little bit, because it's like that's Dad's thing, and like
Yeah.
a wee bit of that vibe. But over the last year, my oldest one's about to turn 9 in like 3 weeks or something, and even though he's been playing it for a year or two, he's only recently had that little click around where it's like, oh, that offside, oh yeah, oh I can, and just the little
Yeah.
things like make more sense, and in the game like, oh, this is fun, or this is cool, or this is. I get why people like this rather than just guys running around after the ball when they're like 5 or 6 and it's just not that exciting.
Oh mate, it's a nightmare. Just like literally like 20 kids just honing in on a ball. You just like the coach is kind of like, find the space, and he like turns around at the parents and like, I give up. They have a little scrap, all the boys. Some of them take some hits though. I like, in the football, like even at 5, 6 years old, some of them are like really gifted at this age. And so you can see the parents have like really put the effort in to try and like get them good and stuff. And you see them either skillfully gifted or some of them just like they love the physical and they're just like, I'm just going to get that ball, and they're just like elbowing and arming and like and it's like funny to see, not funny, but like a few of the kids like took a little bit of a hit or a pounding or whatever, and you just see them break down in tears because they've never experienced that before. They don't know what it's like to like feel that physical contact. And then when my boy got hit, I was like, he never gets, like, he's not like a confrontational person or whatever. So I wonder how he took it. He just dusted himself off and carried on. I'm like, let's fucking go, mate. That's what's up. Like, if you would have sat there crying, I'd have been like, come on, man. Like, yeah. But the fact that he just got up and then just was like, where's the ball kind of thing, and then just started chasing it down again. I was like, that's what's up. That's legit. Yeah.
That's a buzz. That's a proper chest beating moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, he didn't go back after that, mind you.
That's your one time. That's your one time.
Yeah. So he loves the after school football. He plays like in his school team on Thursdays, and then he had for his actual club team for Wimborne, he had Thursday evenings was training, and then Sunday mornings was games. The first training session that he went to about like 7 or 8. And he was like he was getting good, and he's a decent goalkeeper, but I don't know if he's going to have the height for it. But he likes saving the ball and likes being in goal. And the first training session we ever went to, where it was raining, he was like, he was standing under the like little shelter thing. I'm like, mate, you're the goal. Like the shelter was next to the goal, so for him, he was like, I'll just stand here until they come. Like, and I was like, no, get back there. And he like afterwards, he's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I got him back to one more session after that. But he loves the Sunday morning for his first ever game that he was going to go to. He didn't go because it was pissing down with rain. I'm like, mate, like, let's go. Like, I got up. I'm like, let's go. Yeah, it's going to be muddy. You're going to get messy. You're going to get wet, but let's go. It'd be so good. He's like, no, I don't want to go. So he dug his heels in. I was like, I don't want to force you to go. I don't want you to start hating football, like, your own pace. That's not a problem. And then the group chat that we've got with all like the football parents and stuff and the coach and stuff put the picture of all the boys up at their, for their first game. I was like, man, I'm gutted that he just isn't in this picture. His first ever football game opportunity was there, and they got dicked to like 8-0 or something by the other team. So I was kind of like a little bit like, okay, I'm actually a little bit all right that you wasn't at the end of a mauling there. That wouldn't have been fun, but yeah, missed out on an opportunity there. But then I have to remind myself he was 6. Do you know what I mean? Like Mbappe was asked a few months ago, what would you say to like 9 or 10-year-old boys that are like trying to be you? And his response was like, go and play video games, man. Like, go and play with your toys. He's like, you're too young to be worrying about focusing on something for the rest of your life, like go and enjoy yourself. And I'm like, if Mbappe says it's all right at 9 or 10 to just be chilling, he's all right,
Yeah, definitely knows his stuff, doesn't he? Old Mbappe. That's one I'll need to... My son's never had too much problems with it. And that was one thing I've just thinking. There's like, I've had so many times I've been like, I'm waiting for him to say he doesn't want to go tonight, and he's always just like, screw it. He'll just get on with it in a wee way. But again, we're getting to my dad hour. It's kind of probably the last thing I'll say on it, unless you want to keep it going. I don't know if the chat's liking it or not. But try and get the ship back on course, as it were. But like his team has got a lot of kids from a different school in it, so he only actually really knows. Like, he's been there for 2 years, so he knows them all now. But that's normally the main thing, is like, I can't be bored with this kid or that kid, or it's normally just those kind of things. Whereas like weather, like honestly, my kid is like constant. I don't want to. Yeah, I definitely won't be saying this, but he is a very naturally warm boy. Like, he doesn't need to wear many clothes very often. Is kind of probably the better way of putting it. He's just one of those lads. He's going to be huge, honestly. Like, you could probably play rugby or something, the way he's shaping up. I'm a bit worried that they're going to try and make him a keeper. I know. Not that I don't want him to be a keeper or anything like that, but it was the same thing when I did coaching. Like, there's some things in football that once you go down a path, you're in that path. You're pigeonholed. Like, with coaching, it's like women's football for me. Maybe a little bit of youth football. It's kind of hard to get into the senior game thereafter, but there is a path. And with playing, if you play goals for a year, everyone in your school knows you're a keeper. You
Yeah.
tell people are playing goals, so on and so forth. And then when's the next time you play outfield? Not
Yeah.
until you're playing sevens in uni.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I what I don't know how long I've been here for now, but what was you chatting about before I came? What was the topic?
MFL, MLS, and kind of everything in between. So
We've not even talked about MLS. We've just been on MFL, haven't we, for the whole thing?
The only kind of Sorare MLS chat we had was just kind of like how much harder it is to build teams now. Not harder, but there's just setting lineups takes longer now, like way longer. And you're just remembering we've been in that kind of vacation mode throughout Christmas where like half of the world wasn't playing, and now they're all back, and it's like takes twice as long to work all the teams out and do all this stuff. But MLS net hot streaks, buzzing with that.
Say that again.
Did you see the hot streak announcement?
Oh yeah, they changed it. Yes, it's much better, isn't it? Well, it's better at the top tiers, isn't it? Well, the points are lower at the bottom tiers, but the prizes are also better at the top tiers. So yeah, it's pretty decent. Like even when they released it, I looked at those points totals and I was like, that's going to be a piece of piss. I was like, they're going to be getting. I missed it. Everyone missed it. They obviously changed it very quickly because people must just not have been hitting it. So yeah, it's a good change. It's a good change.
Yeah, I'd rather they actually change the headline prices, to be honest. But like, obviously, that's going to cost them a lot more money to pay out every week. Like I've only got like sort of one in season sort of team just now, and then I'm usually mixing in a classic, and it's like obviously I can't hit the streaks, so it's like do I just play like a guy who I don't feel is like as optimal, so that I can like get a chance at hitting the streaks, or do I go for that big cash prize? So
yeah,
interesting. But it's created loads of hype. I mean, obviously MLS cards, like price wise, like they're pretty good. Like, they're, I would say like in-season stuff's back to the kind of prices you were expecting like over sort of previous seasons. And bear in mind, obviously a lot of the prices have kind of come down. So I think they're actually pretty healthy. So I think they'll use that blueprint for Europe now. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I can see that coming 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing with Europe is it'll be easier to hit it because, like, if you get 3 chances a week in a region and you can actually get somebody who's got 50-60% clean sheet percentage chances rather than MLS guys. So you look at the MLS teams, like it's like 30% clean sheet percentage chance, 35. Like it's quite hard to piece those scores together. So it'll be interesting to see how they set the bars. So if you got multiple teams, then it'll be a lot easier. Just get a Celtic stack, just win it every 5 weeks.
Saying that though, I bought Lloris. I went for LAFC this season, and he's literally got 4 clean sheets in a row for LAFC. They have played 4 home games in a row, but he's got 4 clean sheets in a row. So bear in mind, he hasn't hit more than 68 points. And that's like the downside, isn't it? Sometimes you get a keeper that drops 1 or 2 goals and still bags like 70 points. And then you get a keeper that keeps a clean sheet and struggles to hit 60, even with a clean sheet. But no, it looks like Lloris is doing solid. And LAFC, they've switched to more of a 3-back this year. Like last year, they kept switching between 3 and 4 back. And every time they played 3-back, their performances were way better, and Lloris was keeping more clean sheets. And so in my head, I'm like, you motherfuckers, just keep 3-back because it's better for me. I don't care what you guys are doing. And this season, they seem to be pretty consistent on the 3-back, which is really nice.
Marque Delgado looks like he's doing pretty well as well, doesn't he?
He is, yeah. He's taken the role that Tillman was in last season, and Tillman's moved a bit more central. So Tillman's not as influential, and Delgado's kind of getting a lot of the transitional play, which is sad for me because I went in on Tillman because I thought Delgado was good at LA last season. Well, it's a weird transition actually for him, isn't it? LA Galaxy to LAFC. I don't know. I would have thought that wouldn't have happened, but Tillman's kind of dropped off a little bit off the back of it, which is a bit of a shame. Tillman's gone into that, more central, like trying to be like a little bit more offensive rather than working in a transition. But speaking of LA Galaxy, did a tier 5 plus craft today, hit Ricky Page, rare. So I know he's out for about another 17 years, but still, I've got an in-season Ricky Page.
So, hey, happy with that then? Yeah. Also, it's a
tier
5 craft, so
yeah, tier 5 craft.
Forget that he's maybe tier 2 nowadays or something.
Just at the end of it, 5. So long as he stays in MLS, I can use him in season now for the rest of the time, can't I? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be good for me. So, yeah, I was pretty gassed with it.
Yeah, he was unbelievable last season. Like he's scoring. Do you look at even LA Galaxy? I think have struggled without him, to be honest. Like so, yeah, he's too good for MLS. Like I think he's like a Barcelona class player in terms of on the ball. Like he would play in Barcelona. I think like
that's where he came from, isn't it? He was from their academy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's good. But I said to Led straight away, I was like, oh, like when's he back? And he was like 2026. I was like, fuck. Is that no? It might be like October, November. So I'm like, okay, so I could get like 5 or 10 games in season with him, but you never know what they come back like after they do an ACL, do you? Like,
yeah, especially initially. So I think overall more of them will be fine than not, but that initial kind of comeback period is always the big question mark. Especially if it's like end of season, could be very important games. Where are they at? It's a messy one. There's a bit of banter, I forgot about this actually, but someone had mentioned your craft in the stream earlier, Nep, and I was like, don't ruin it in case there's a video, because I'll watch that later.
Oh,
and then he ruined it. And then I was like, James, what you doing? He deleted his comment, and also I don't mind, obviously, because I had spoiled already, but the chat were checking me on it. Nep with the spoilers.
They won't understand his pronunciation anyway. The thing is, when a pug.
Yeah, Ricky Peach.
Ricky Peach.
Oh, it's a weird name, isn't it? You would just change your name, wouldn't you? You'd be like, no, I'm not called Ricky Peach anymore. I'm Puig or something like, something that makes a little bit more sense to what it actually looks like.
People are telling me my mic's slow. I've just adjusted something. Sorry.
I got 20 essence out of a box today, so that was pretty sick. 20 rare essence.
That's good. I got 20 limited the other day. I thought, that's
nice.
Quite unusual.
Yeah.
I think that's a wee bit of a change because of the guaranteed essence. Maybe the boxes are a bit more likely to actually pay out the big amount for once.
Yeah, potentially.
There's not many boxes left now. It's only All-Star really in it, so like it's mainly fixed amounts. Like I think it's building up a bit quicker again. I think because obviously they've just upped the ante a wee bit because like okay, we can decide how many we're actually paying out here. It's not going to be random. Like it's going to be a splurge of people getting 200 out of box or whatever. So I've got like 113 in Super Rare, and I'm thinking I might just try and save it up for the new season, to be honest now. Like, because like, yeah, I mean, I'd much rather have a chance like contender-wise of pulling a tier 1 plus. I'll get a Rangers player, won't I? I'll end up getting fucking Tavernier or something. Like.
Yeah. Again, man, nonsense. That's what I was going to ask you. With the fixed essence, like it's one of the first things that came into my mind the other day when I crafted. I ended up doing it, but I did say to myself, if I wasn't like making content, I would definitely now just be sitting on it.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage. So I turned around. I did another craft the other day, but I'm kind of tempted now to maybe just sit on it all now. The rare one's a bit mucky because I'm cross region, so like when I go to yank it, it might not. If I was to hang on forever, it might not actually benefit me. Super rare may be a bit different. But I was wondering, so McBride, you've maybe said a little on it there as well. But yeah, when do you stop churning, or when do you stop crafting, or do you stop crafting? Is maybe a strategy point now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for me, until they give us the ability to kind of separate the essence pools, I will just, as soon as I get enough essence to craft, I'll craft. And obviously this upcoming game weeks and stuff, you can hit 100 essence for like finishing high in the MLS and stuff. So I'll just craft it straight away. But I would much prefer to carry on crafting tier 5s. Like my best pools have come from tier 5s. I got one bit of luck from a tier 4 plus. I can't remember what it was. I've kind of been that good. But like, my Haaland was a tier 5 plus. Like I've hit a Ricky Peach as a tier 5 plus. I hit Boskagli Limited as a tier 5 plus. Like I've just hit so many nice tier 5 pluses. I'm like, I know what my luck is like. I'll hit a tier 1/star and I'll get the worst player in the pool. And I'll be like, what the fuck? I could have done like 40 tier 5s instead. And I would have much preferred that. So I'll just keep ripping them as soon as I've got it.
Yeah, fair. And Rico, man, well, we have a hunch, and we'd see Sorare foreshadowing stuff. We were chatting about this with baseball, I think, recently. I think baseball are doing something in their cards or in their boxes where you can turn classics into in-season. And Rico Man's telling us that baseball looks like they're removing craft tiers, so it's just a one-stop shop kind of thing, where it's probably just 20 to turn it and forget saving it up. That's just the machine now, insert 20 essence to play kind of thing. that would maybe make things a bit simpler for everything. Maybe, I don't know.
I quite like being able to customize it, to be honest. Like, so I'll give you an example, right? Obviously, if you want to just keep doing tier 5 or tier 4 or whatever, that's fine. But like, I've got like thousands of players, so I don't want to have any risk of having loads of tier 5s because they're no use to me. So I'd rather like have a guaranteed tier 1 plus. All right, maybe a lower down tier 1 plus, but like at the moment, because everything's running, like it doesn't take as long to build up the essence. So like it lets you kind of decide what the best strategy is for your own gallery, or your own personal habits. Do you want to just you have patience? You just want to go, just want to go bang bang, but you just want to keep, or do you want to build it up? Do you want to kind of work towards something and just keep saving it up? And I think they've done a really good thing by letting you carry it over as well. You get to the end of the season, you say I've got 500 essence, and they're all champ or EPL. They've raised the limit to 650. So if you're not playing much over the summer, you can, all right, you might kind of like corrupt your poison it or whatever you say, but like you can still wait, and you can wait a month or two, and then you can wait. I think it's 2 weeks into the season, then you can pull again, and you might get like a Saka or something that's worth £1,000. So, like I think like actually the way they've done it's like really good. People would like obviously to let you separate it out, but I think the only problem with separating it out is like all the different seasons all run at different times and stuff. So like in Contender, for example, like just had K-League and J-League starting, and the other leagues are coming to an end. So some people would like probably start complaining if they got a guy who's a really good star but's only got 5 in-season games left to go. So they've got to iron all that stuff out. So
yeah, that's true.
So that's where it becomes difficult. But yeah, I mean, I think they've done pretty well with it. Obviously, they gave out too much at the start, but I think that's because like everybody was just hammering the button, and then it just started popping out some stars, and you're like, well, they don't have enough like supply those stars at rare level or whatever to give out. Limited's probably okay, but rare, super rare, they just definitely don't. So
yeah, because they obviously come into this season thinking, what would the average churn be? How many essence for a card? And with like they probably went for a middle average of like, some people will save, some people will eliminate tier 5s and da. But then like the majority, like 99%, is it's just turning and burning. I think Nep set the trend on that one for sure. Come up with the meta.
It's your fault.
Yeah, sure. And Bold Sherlock, if the baseball model is the future, it'll be even more dire news for Classic. Classics will essentially only be able to win energy. Okay. So it's a bit different in baseball. Interesting. I just thought it was an interesting in-game item that's been introduced, and maybe something just to be
I think they've been a bit harsher with baseball and MLB. Baseball is MLB, NBA, sorry. But I think they've been a bit harsher with that because they are newer games. So obviously they can make it harsher because they're still affecting people who have put money in, or you call it investing or whatever, but it's a newer game. Whereas with football, like there's more seasons of cards, so you can see that what's happening is they're applying an evolution to it. It's like now it's like, well, you can still use an in-season card, but you don't qualify for the streaks. So it's like making people think that you can still enter, and you can, but you don't qualify for all of the sort of bonus rewards and stuff. And like obviously with Super Rare, they had the 3 and the 2, and then they got to the point where they're like, okay, we're starting some summer leagues now, so we're going to go 4-1. And people are like, oh, I'm really pissed off with that and stuff. And obviously in Super Rare wise, like EPL and everything, that was maybe, I could see maybe a bit out of order. But from Sorare's point of view, you might think, well, we've minted all the Super Rares for this season, so if you've not bought any, then, well, if you want to just sit and not spend any money, you can't really say you want to keep competing to win. So like I think they're just kind of evolving it up to the point where it gets to the proper in-season, out-of-season model. And that was maybe not one of the mistakes, but I think what happened was that they were wanting to throw everything at it. They threw all the promotions at it. They put all the essence and everything at it, and they were wanting to make sure that people bought in-season cards, and now they're seeing it's working, so they're just kind of just working it towards the actual segregation. If you don't spend money on in-season cards, you won't be able to win much cash or whatever. And Quinny, what do you think of the actual out-of-season MLS stuff where it's only paying out tier ones and you get a lot of essence or whatever, but a lot of people are like, it's the very few cards paid out. Like, how do you feel about that?
I think the essence amounts have made it a bit easier to swallow, as it were. I've not actually paid much attention to the actual classic prize pool for the most part. But yeah, looking at it, it's podium only for a card. I think that's just the kind of... I think that's the stance they just wanted to take for this one, isn't it? Is they want card rewards to be good. Like, if there's a card reveal, they don't want... They want... If you've won a card, it's like, oh, I've won a card. It's like, we're going to get something good here. Me and Harry had this chat. I think, maybe not with MLS, but maybe with Europe, Tier 2 could have probably been the line, because Tier 2s can be very fun and very handy in MLS, but I do think Tier 2 could be quite a murky tier, where there's just some guys that get in there that you might not be as thrilled to win. But yeah, I think the guaranteed essence makes a big difference. I think the main complaint has been the head count, so how many teams are in versus how many prizes are out, which I understand, but MLS, like Nico put the tweet out the other day, it's his 6th season. There's 6 seasons of classics out there, big 2 seasons of big heads. I forgot it. I thought it was only 1.
Yeah.
But no, 2. So, guys retire and move, but there's a lot of those guys still viable,
Yep.
So, it was always going to be an extra congested classic, I felt, MLS. So, I'm not too surprised that it feels like a hyper competitive classic mode, because it's just kind of set up to be that way, I think.
Yeah, also, like, the thing that I like about the classics is it gives you that freedom to literally use who you want. Like, your Messi's, not that I trust in him now. It looks like he's more gone than Suarez these days, and Suarez is like walking on one knee. But, like the fact that you can go and buy, I don't even know what Carlos Hill is these days as a rare classic, but I bet you it's very affordable.
Yeah. The Reds have scored no goals in the first 2 games.
40 quid for his classic. And it's like, all of a sudden, you can play matchups, you can dance in and out of teams, you can have whole collections at classic, and you can play for the fun. And, when I look at MFL, for example, I've bought 5 teams now. I've spent a load of money on players, and I bought like all of the packs at the very first pack drop that I was eligible for. I think I've spent somewhere close to like $1,000, maybe $800, $1,000 on it. And if I lost everything, I don't care, because I had fun. And when we joined Sorare, at least when I joined Sorare, it was about hitting that threshold, or buying that player that in 6 months' time you knew would be 10 times the price that you bought him for, so you could just sell him, and it's like a real good way to like make a whole bunch of money. If you hit an Mbappe, you've won 20 grand, like, very nice. I look at Sorare now as like, this is fun. What can I do for fun? And if me going and buying 10 Carlos Hills to play him in like all of the same tournaments because I think he's got a great matchup, like, I think that's a really good way to play the game now. So I don't mind that Classic is like almost dead for prizes, because it's dead for how much you have to pay to enjoy what you want to do.
Yeah, I think the only problem with that is, like, obviously the guys who like spent like a couple £100 on the classic cards, so that's creating all this sort of bad sentiment and everything. But I think it's like people just have to like just kind of make peace with it, like, it's just like, it's what it is. Like, if you paid like £200 for this rare guy and he's worth 20 quid, do you really want to just actually like sell him and get 20 quid back, or do you want to just use him for the next 7 years and see what you can win with him? And then that's a personal decision, like, sometimes people need a reset, right? So, like, remember you talking before about you felt as if you were kind of almost sitting on a loss. So, like, it might be that at that point you just say, right, well, I'm just going to sell off my classic guys, I'm going to put it in the end season, and then when I win money back, I'm going to say, right, I've spent $1,000 in end season, I've won back $500 in the first couple of months, and I feel good about myself. But like, you could just use your classic guys and just have like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 years entertainment. Like, I've never been on any site at all where like you could have had a Messi. I was on like Football Index and you had Messi, and if somebody said he was moving to the MLS, like, everybody would have been like capitulating. It's like, like, whereas this site, it's like being viewed as a positive, so there's a lot of positives for like somebody's career and stuff like that if you get it right, obviously. But you can't just, I looked at my classic cards, I was like, it's not worth selling that guy. Like,
Yeah.
just keep them, choose them. So.
Oh, look at that. All my bloody cards, man. In classics and seasons, a lot of them. I'm like, oh, man. Even like Vinicius Jr., like I know he's been a little bit out of form or whatever, but his in-season rare right now is like really, really affordable. And I'm like, fuck me. Like, maybe I should go buy another one or two of him because when he hopefully will inevitably have a couple more like 80+ scores for that at the back of the season, and they could be really handy for me. But it's a time, isn't it? Managing your gallery, especially when you've got a lot of cards, big gallery, it's very time consuming.
I think the interesting to see that they should cover the Club World Cup as well. So, like, and I don't know if they'll have any in-season requirements for that because they won't really have any cards to sell at that point. So, like, as you say, if you've got like, say, an Arsenal collection or whatever, and they win a Club World Cup, I don't know if they're around. I don't think they are, but like, you could add on like a couple of guys and get the bonus from them or whatever, and like you could use them over the summer. Like that would be pretty handy. So. Like, because that's why I bought the Chelsea Limited collection, which won me like basically nothing. It's like the biggest collection I've ever seen in my life. So it cost me like 500 quid. It's like they've got about 450 players. Like it's won me like 20 quid. So like I was like, this will definitely win me something. It's not. So
I think that's the worst when I bought some like big players, like I went for the Real Madrid collection, like you did. I also bought like the Lamine Yamals and like Erling Haaland and stuff. And it's like, they're actually like, I don't know how it's gone wrong, but Lamine Yamal won me like nothing. Even though he's hit some big scores and stuff, he's just never been in a lineup where everyone hit. Like, and I've had him in a few lineups where it's been like Lamine, Mbappe, Bellingham, and then like, a couple of whatever defender and Courtois or whatever. Or when Lunin was playing, like Lunin. And it's like, Lamine will hit 100 and then Mbappe will, he struggled at the start of the season, didn't he? He was barely scoring, and Mbappe would like be dropping these 35s, and I'm like, fuck's sakes, man. And then Mbappe will pop off and hit 100, and Lamine was out because he rolled his ankle and was out for like 3 or 4 games, and I'm like, for fuck's sakes, man. Like, no, I haven't got a good player to put alongside Mbappe, and that's the problem when you buy all the stars. Is like when they're not clicking, you don't have any alternatives. Then I run like my Celta Vigo guys with like Alonso and Starfelt and stuff, and like. I've got like 3 100s and one of them as a captain, and I might fucking finish like second in the division with like just a pile of shit, and I'm like, what's important?
Carl Starfelt, a pile of shit. Come on.
Yeah. I bought Gyökeres as well, Rico, man, and yeah, he's been woeful since he was hitting hundreds constantly, or like 80s, 90s, and he's now in like the 60s, 70s, and I'm like, fuck you, man, like you knew I bought you, you piece of shit.
The hype train got too real on that, didn't it? I've had a few guys like that as well, where you just don't ever feel you catch a win with them, even though they rip, so that can be quite a painful one. I kind of missed little bits of this. I really had to blow my nose. I had like so much catch in the back of my head there. But no, I like I've kind of eked into in season slowly but surely. I've got a video coming out tomorrow, Nep, where I've been kind of like, maybe my third one of the season, counting cash cards and boxes, like how many I've won across the year cumulatively. Like just going through the game weeks and I get 80 quid and 5 boxes. What card did I win? Doing that kind of stuff. And same way, you're totally different scale and whatever. Kind of similar to the Carlos Heel one you brought up. I bought a Kevin De Bruyne in season this week for 44 quid.
Jesus.
Rare. Yeah. And it was like, for me, like De Bruyne came on the platform, Belgian, only had like 10 rares and about 5 limiteds or something like that. Always been mad expensive. Even when City and the Prem came on, City won the treble that year, obviously been amazing. This year's obviously totally different. He's never been anywhere near 40 quid at rare, at any tone, classic or anything, So I was like, if I get 180 this year, like this season, that's cool. Like that's cool, like no bother. So there's definitely some opportunities like that out there. If there's guys that you're like, oh, I can do with that, or I've wanted him, or I'm getting close to that way with Griezmann now. Griezmann's always been mad priced, and he's still not really cheap. He's definitely in the cheaper category of general in-season forwards and stuff. But I like the idea of having that little dip in, because this time of the year, in some ways, me and Harry were chatting about it on the deadline show. It's a little bit easier to forecast some of that, like, who will do well this weekend, because some teams don't have midweeks. You know the rotation pattern. You know who's shite this year. You know who might try and win something or whatever. Whereas at the beginning of the year, with like the very Mbappe Yamal thing you had going on. Like Mbappe's just came in. Who's playing left wing, centre forward? Him and Vinny are trying to work it out.
Yeah.
You know, there's all that teething problems rumbling around, and then injuries with Yamal. This time of the year, that stuff is kind of all done with, and it's just like everyone plays all the time, maximum points, maximum goals. You know, like, for the big teams anyway, run towards the finish line.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'd approach next season. I approached the MLS, I feel like, wrong. Like I was building my MLS lineups this week, and I'm like, other than the collection of LA FC that I've got, I'm like, I just don't have anything. And like the prices are now at a nice point where I could go and buy things, but for some reason I'm reluctant, and I'm winning a lot at the moment. Like I go through like I guess I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I go through phases where I feel like I'm winning divisions every week for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I don't win anything for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm like, fuck this game, man, this is shit, like it's pointless, I'm not playing this crap anymore. And then I'll like, half-ass my lineups because I'm just not interested in my own results, and I win randomly, like with that lineup that one where I had like Loic Bardet and stuff in there, and I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm like, Sorare's the best, and now I'm on a bit of a hot streak again. I'm like hitting podiums every week, winning a lot of cash and stuff, and I'm like, I really should buy some MLS cards. They're a good price. I've got a lot of money in the account from what I've won over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And, I've hit some really sick crafts. Like, I'm like, why aren't I buying anything? And honestly, I was sitting there today and I was looking at my balance and I was like, why am I not spending? I've got a decent amount of like credits built up and stuff. And all I was sitting there thinking was, how much would I get on MFL if I took this out so rare? I was like, what kind of team could I build with this on MFL? Could I get a silver team? Could I get a bronze team? Like, what would I be able to get? And it's like, it's a testament, I guess, to how good MFL is. Or maybe it's because it's the new shiny thing that I'm just like, oh, let's play this. But yeah, there's something at the moment that's stopping me from pulling the trigger. And I think it's because I like the idea of strategy paying off. And when you see Mbappe has won me next to nothing, and Yamal has won me next to nothing, Vinny the same, and yet I've got these like random pieces of crap that have won me like 300, 400 quid each. I'm like, why am I buying these superstars? And so my Stuttgart setup, I don't know if you caught that, but like I bought like the Stuttgart like 3 times over basically, and I'm just going to run them all together with like slightly different variations. They've got incredible matchups, and if they pop off, I might not win because somebody else might have a better XP or collection bonus than me, but I don't need to win because I didn't pay much for them. So, especially with the star players from there, Mittelstadt and the goalkeeper and Stiller, even in like 5 or 6 game weeks time, I could probably sell them for like 50 or 60% of what I bought them for. So I only need to like finish in the cash places a couple of times out of the rest of the year, and I'll be absolutely fine. And that's where I look at those strategies and I think to myself, I wonder if I'd much rather, I don't know who like where the La Liga table is right now. Let's have a look at the La Liga table. Where are we? Let's take like a Villarreal or an Athletic Club. They're not great teams by any stretch of the imagination, but they're 4th and 5th. They've taken, a whole bunch of wins each, like 12, 14 wins each this season. If I went and bought them now with 12, 13 games to go, full collections, but 3 times over, I need them to succeed 1 time to get my money back. And it will cost me about like 300 quid, even at rare level, to get it all. And I'm like, that interests me way more than being like, let me go and buy Harry Kane. Because Harry Kane's another one that I bought that's been absolutely shocking since I bought him. He's been in and out of injuries. He stopped scoring multiple goals and stuff. And so now I start putting him in lower priority lineups. So then when he does hit a big score, it's worthless because it's in a lineup that doesn't mean anything. And it's like, I'd rather have just had like fucking Jurassic. Oh, he was actually a craft that I got last week as well, Jurassic, tier 5 craft. So yeah, I'd rather have a Jurassic that's like 10th of the price and hitting the same sort of scores. Like,
I think the big thing with MLS when you're talking about that, obviously but like, I think with MLS, to buy guys in that league, if you're not going to do a club collection thing, it's an eye test league. You can look at someone's scores and think, oh, I'll buy him, and he's shit or he's been bombed. Everyone knows he's crap at football, but something has happened to get him an amazing L5 for some reason. And I wasn't going to buy any MLS at all. I then tempted myself into getting some NYC stuff when the stuff came out, and I thought, oh, let's just have a bit of fun this year with it. And then after I've watched every highlight on a Monday. That's kind of what I do now. MLS Monday. I'll just on the Monday, whatever I've not seen, if I've watched a game or so, I'll watch all the highlights in the morning. And after doing that, like I'll then look at a guy and go, oh, he played really well. And I won't know the Sorare scores obviously. And if I can tie a guy up that looked good in the highlights, and I've watched MLS on and off for long enough, or maybe recognise some of the guys. I'm not totally new to it in that sense, but I think once you've got guys passing the eye test in MLS, we're like, oh no, he will be effective. He is a key player. He is in the middle of the pitch, on the corners, whatever. It's a bit easier to jump into the market and buy them. He's 30 quid. What's the harm, But and like you say, with your Mbappe experience, MLS is covered in guys that will do that to folk this year. That they'll spend big money on and they'll never quite nail the combo, or they'll never really hit a real bit of form to make it work. And I think MLS, it's a big eye test league, or knowledge. It's probably a knowledge thing, people would say it is, but it's about knowing who is actually going to pull their weight this year.
Yeah.
And I think if you had a wee bit more confidence in that, you'd maybe, do you know what I could do with those 3 guys? I'll go and get them, and that's enough, or something to that tune.
I think the other interesting thing with the MLS last summer and stuff, I don't know if they're going to stop now for the Club World Cup because Miami are in it, but they play through international breaks and stuff. So if you get the backup goalkeepers for the guys who have international goalkeepers and stuff, you just honestly you just you probably make much more. I mean, the thing that got me, I've only bought Nashville, which was just a pure personal choice of I always really like Nashville and I'm going to go for that. But you look at some of the cards, you think these guys are $300 to $400 each. I'm talking in dollars because MFL, but and then you look at the first place prize for winning rare, and you're like, fuck, it's going to be hard to get that back. So the streaks have been souped up, but it's kind of like that. We call it in Scotland the rope-a-dope. It's somebody in and you take it away and you draw somebody in, you're like, oh, you're nearly there now. This, that type of thing, so it's going to be quite hard. Even pranks you get drawn in, spending fucking 20 grand in a unique stack or something, you're like, I don't know, that's going to be pretty difficult to return that. I guess it depends how many people play against him at that level, because he's got a few teams, but there's other people getting in and buying good stacks, and you're thinking, most weekends, something will happen and he'll not win, and that's going to be quite difficult to actually get it back in terms of returns. So I've done a good job with it, but I think that a lot of the early prices, people just lost their head. Honestly, some of the prices I've seen in limited, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, that is just insane. Really.
So their auction fever is powerful, isn't it? People get auction fever, man. Crazy shit happens. It was Contender all over again, wasn't it?
When you start building a collection, though, and you're like, oh, this guy last sold for £1.80, is up on Instabuy for £3.20. You're like, what do I give a fuck about £1.40? I don't like difference. I'm like, whatever, I buy. Then the next auction is 73p, and you're like, what the fuck? I fucked myself. How am I going to ever win this back? But no, the goalkeeper thing, I was like, last weekend, I was like, right, nice. I bought all the goalkeepers. Let's see who fucked up. Looked at every game. No goalkeeper sent off. No error led to the goal. No random rotation. Why, you motherfuckers? So I checked all the goalkeeper prices. All the backups that I bought, the only one person that played that wasn't supposed to was Pantemis, I think. And I was like, I didn't buy him in the first place because he was already a bit higher price. So I was like, no, I'm not buying him. And he literally went from £9 to 30 quid. And I was like, that would have covered off so much of my spend if I just bought every goalkeeper the strategy suggested by every backup goalkeeper. Not every cheap backup goalkeeper, everyone. And so I fucked myself.
International break is in 2 weeks, Nep, so you will have a few of them sprinkling out. I can imagine. I like that strategy a lot. I was gonna bring that up when we were chatting about something else earlier that you kind of kicked off with that, because I see your tagline. It didn't come into my earphones when you joined the room. You've renamed yourself Theory Craft and the Penfez. And between the Stuttgart and the goalkeeper thing, Sorare is in a position now where if you think about trying to do that a year ago, it's 10x the price.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it's 50x the price. So be able to do fun, still market centered activities for a large part of it. they can still yield well and not cost too much. It's just better for everyone because everyone has their own idea of playing the game. Everyone has their like, oh, if I had unlimited funds, I would do this, or if I had a wee bit more, I would have done it this way, kind of thing. And it was one of the things actually I used to, I still do, but when everything was kind of popping off and everyone was growing, I used to love about watching McBride's account because McBride was just balls of steel. Would just buy like you've done with stuff. He was just, I'm just going to buy all the limited goalkeepers that I see, or things like that, and it managed to pay off. So it's nice to see that people. I don't know, obviously, content creators yourself, it's maybe not quite the average man or the average user or whatever, but anyone can do this shit. Like, none of the cards I have are unattainable to anyone now, really, for a greater or lesser extent, depending on what you were talking about. And that's kind of the way it is for everything, minus, like, the star cards, really. And it's a pretty sweet spot to be in, but I think with MLS, it was a wee bit of that fever that kind of got everyone a wee bit, kind of felt like contender. It's like something new. There's hot streaks. There's all this stuff going on, and it really did sweep the prices away. But I was quite pleased that they changed the hot streak thing quite quickly. It's a really good kind of, because it felt like with Essence, we mentioned that before, that they went kind of like middle ground. Oh, it should be like this, so let's just put it out, get people excited, and let's make sure it works. And then it's negative moves to correct it. Whereas it felt like with the hot streaks, they came out negative, like, let's make it shit. And then see, and then, okay, everyone's happy, fine. But, and then you can wind it back. So it's been a good experience overall. And, like, I'm quite buzzing for it. And I didn't have any intentions of getting into it at all. I do think, but, like, we're chatting about classics and whatever. Like, I've been quite a pro classic guy for the last, like, 6 months, because I do think, like, a lot of the in-season stuff is great. It's like a core part of the game now. But if you are going to play this game for longer than one season, which I think everyone intends to when they're playing it, you will need classics to do something for you at some stage. Getting some essence, pulling some cards along the way, or going in season as your stud, like that Puig or that De Bruyne or whatever. And I think a lot of people that were like on a budget or a threshold team or a limited kind of gallery just went, I'm all in season, because that's where the money is and that's where the game is. Kind of like you'd mentioned at the beginning, it's about chasing the ROI, and now it's kind of the realization of, oh, cards are falling in value. What do I do to protect my, and da-da-da. And it's not really that forward thinking of, well, like, this is my 5th season played Sorare. Like, what will it look like for you when you're 5 seasons down the road? You're not going to have just one collection of Daegu or whatever at the end of it.
Well, unless you're Hoodwink,
tons of shit. Unless you're Hoodwink. Hoodwink's got 4 Daegus now or something probably, but yeah.
Well, the thing about your De Bruyne pickup as well is, if he does go to the MLS in the summer, which it's been rumoured, you've now got 4 or 5 months of in-season Kevin De Bruyne where he's ripping hundreds for fun, and you already spoke on, you got him for 40 quid. You only need him to hit 1 good score, 2 good scores in the rest of the Premier League season. And then maybe he goes MLS, like, I could see like a San Diego or something like that for a De Bruyne, whereas like, or like where's Royce right now? Go and play with Royce. Like, I think I don't know if they ever played together, but they definitely played against each other in the Bundesliga. So it's interesting. And for my Stuttgart collection, the way I looked at it was £168 I bought all of these players for. Worst case scenario, I'll be able to sell them all for like 30 quid, right? Like, worst case scenario, if I win nothing till the end of the season and that's all I've got left, 30 quid I'll get back, no problem. So 130 quid, give or take, the total cost price. There's about 12 game weeks left. So that's on average like 10 quid a game week. Do you know, like, that's all right. I'd pay 10 quid a game week to have 3 in-season Bundesliga lineups on a stack. And that's how I try, like, for me now, it's less about, let me try and win a 20 grand Mbappe, and more about, what can I do that would be fun, be engaging, be rewarding to play, and potentially make me a little bit of profit on top? Because we're not going to become millionaires off the Sorare anymore. Like, even Pranksy, like, like you say, McBride, like, he's dumping like 20 grand into a team that he's probably going to take 6 to 9 months to win that 20 grand back from, if he's lucky. Like, sure, at the end of the day, if he does win it back, you can be like, yeah, I won 20 grand and I still got these players. That's great. But Sorare's like, it's less about the let's churn our ROI and more about, let's have some fun. What can we do that will be really fun? And so I think, like, the Stuttgart thing for me, if this succeeds, I'm going to play the strategy for like 6 to 9 months in every competition everywhere and just be like, let me just see what I can do with the same team 3 times and just wait for that one game week, because I don't need the best players to hit, because I've got a real fun combination of all the players together. And I was looking at Arsenal results back in this season, because, you know, we struggled a lot this season, but like quite regularly, Raya, Gabriel, and Saka were hitting big scores. And then it was the other 2 players that were like, sometimes it was Rice and Trossard, sometimes it was Partey and Gabriel Jesus, sometimes it was Saliba and like Jorginho. And I'm like, if I've just got all of them in a mix, doesn't matter who it is, as long as I've got those other the big 3 that always hit, I'm cleaning up. And I'm like, that'd be way more enjoyable for me. And it covers off like let's say this week I've got Undav in one of the 3 lineups. If he's on the bench, I don't care, because I've got the other guy in another lineup. So I'm still going to have the fun of watching the game. I'm almost like preempting my own DNP woes by having the players in different lineups. Yeah.
And, you know, when someone comes off the bench, it's not the end of the world sometimes.
It's not. Yeah.
You know, so it's nice to, I'm with you there. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that. I think me and McBride have a similar kind of thing on the go. Obviously with Celtics, we've got kind of like 4 seasons of cards, quite a lot of multiples. So that's kind of a thing that we normally find ourselves wrestling with is, do we play all the Carter Vickers this week, or do we just play one? Or, you know, like that's kind of a point that goes into that as well, which I quite enjoy. I think with Arsenal, I think with champ teams, you will just do better with that versus like contender and challenger, because you're just against just a broader field of possibilities, really. Whereas in those kind of narrower confines, like I've mentioned it a few times because it came up recently, but Wolves have won Premier League in season twice this year. You know, back to back it felt like, and they were in the relegation zone. So it's one of those ones where it's got a good chance for success, but it's a discipline doing that. You know, it's not fuck it, I'm just going to mix it up this week because I feel like it, and it's a real labour of
it's funny. In one of my biggest lineups this week, I've got Mark Gahey and Eddie Nketiah, because Palace are at home to Ipswich, and Nketiah is definitely going to start because Mateta got kicked in the head, and Gahey's like a premium scorer, generally speaking. He's one of the better Premier League like defenders, and I'm looking at the lineup and it feels wrong. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing putting Gahey and Nketiah together in with like Declan Rice, and I think I've got Raya and Salah in the lineup, and I'm like, it feels wrong, but it's right. This is the play. Like, and anyone that's running a Palace stack this week must be sitting there going, this is going to be my week. And I would love it if a Palace stack won the Premier League this week, just because it's like it validates my idea of strategy. Do you know what I mean? Of like, if you've got if you've got 3 sets of Palace, it must cost you a fraction of even just one Bukayo Saka to have 3 lineups of Palace. And so as long as you've got all of the combinations kind of covered of like the premium scorers or the set piece takers or the penalty takers and stuff, and if Palace do end up smashing Ipswich 4-5-6-0, you're just walking away with like, you might even finish like 1-3-7 or 1-9-12 and end up walking away with like $2,500 or something. Like, could be a great week for such a little cost, but you have to go through the painful 30 weeks of shit to get that 1 week of brilliance. And that's what people struggle with. It will fail 5 weeks in a row. They'll be like, fuck this. I don't support Palace anymore. I'm supporting someone else, And you're right. It's that discipline of like just making sure you adhere to your strategy for the whole campaign. And I didn't do that this year with so many of my strategies, and it ended up costing me a lot because I'm like, fuck, if I just stuck to my strategy, this is the week it would have won. But instead I dumped Vinny J somewhere else. I bought in Lewandowski Classic for this one, and I put Mamadashvili in because I thought he had a better matchup than Courtois, and Courtois ripped to 90 or whatever. And it's like stick to your plan, and it'll be successful.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I've had a few plans kind of running around. There's a few things I wanted to add on to what you said there. Like, I think the collection change thing that they've done is a huge activator for a lot of this. Like, I've bought my third Sean Johnson from that original New York collection that I spent far too much money on. So I've now got 3 Sean Johns that kind of have like eternal in-season bonus. It's kind of like the way I've kind of got them. So that's been fun. And I think there's something else that tied in with that as well that I forgot. And I've just forgotten that again. It'll come back to me in a second. But I like this comment from Michael Cairns. I just wanted to throw this into the chat. We'll need to get this wrapped up in a wee minute, guys, because I've just seen the time. But Michael Cairns is saying, I've substituted £10 to £20 on a bet each week for Sorare cards and so forth. Not won a great deal, but budget fun and all the rest of it. That's actually how I got into all this bag. I was like a proper gambler. Like, yeah, I did all right with it for the most part, but gamblers never win net. You know, you're always down. It's just the way it is. And I did that with Football Index, where I used to just take my coupon money and deposit it there, and then it was like, well, that's my betting money like gone, but it's not gone because it's a different thing, you know.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the same, so I can live that life, Michael. I like that. And but with that, just as a wee kind of side note, I used to have little goals in my head, so I'd be like, oh, once it gets to 500, I'll withdraw it and, you know, fill in the blank with whatever you do with £500 when you're putting away gambling winnings, whatever you do with that, weekends and whatever. So something to think about as well if you are stashing it up. You want a payback, because it's like you're training yourself. You need a reward for your discipline there, and your, you know, staying true to the, like, keeping away from the gambling stuff, you know.
Yeah, I've been I've like a what we call an addictive personality, and so when I was like training, like in the gym, it was like I'm all or nothing with everything, whether it's YouTube and content creation. And fortunately, I've never been like a smoker or a drinker, or into drugs or anything, but I've been into gambling like quite heavy a few times. And I stopped most recently gambling, A, because Sorare came around and it kind of scratched that itch, but B, because like I was making so much money off of YouTube that I would need to go into the casino and win like 5 or 6 figures to actually feel like I'd like changed something in my life. And to win that much money, you can't be betting £5 or 20 quid or 50 quid. You've got to be betting hundreds or thousands of pounds. And it was like, I'd walk out a few times, but like, what the fuck have I done? Like, so I stopped gambling in casinos. But overall, my gambling luck or success or whatever, like I love blackjack, and I'm just very good at it. And I've won a lot. I'm like, you know, you said the gamblers always lose or whatever. Like I'm up 100%. Like I'm up on the casinos, mostly because of blackjack, and a lot of it because of dumb luck. Like I have this feeling of instinct inside me. I don't know if you play blackjack at the casinos where they have the side bets. Yeah. So I love the side bets, right? And I always play them anyway, like £5 or 10 quid. And then every now and then I'm like, I'm feeling this. And I put it on the one where it's like, if you get like straight flush trips or like colored trips, maybe, like you get, it end up paying out like something like crazy, like 800 to 1 or something. And I was like, I'm just feeling it. And I put like 20 quid on there. Boom, it hit it. I was like, that's insane. And I walked out with like 16 grand that day. And then my greatest ever casino story, right? Me and my wife, about, let's say like 3-4 years ago, went to a casino in Bournemouth. And it's New Year's Eve. And we go on there and I asked the croupier, can you open the table for me, please? And they know me in there, which I don't even know if it's a flex. Like, it's more of a sad thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, they know you. And I'm like, can you open the table? So straight away, he was like, went and got a croupier to come and open the table. And then he got called away, like immediately. I don't know why. So another person came. And so he just got the cards out and started dealing them. And this is before they had the automatic shuffle machines. He didn't know that the previous guy hadn't shuffled them. So the cards were just in order. And they're not allowed to reshuffle the deck unless the customer says, hey, I don't like this deck. Can you reshuffle it? All of a sudden, like, I'm like, Lauren, like, I know we're going to win. We know what's coming. Like, it's all spades first. So we could just keep it because it's all fucking spades. And so we played this shoe and all these people are behind us watching. All I'm thinking, whilst we're winning literally thousands and thousands of pounds, because obviously it's max limit on the table, I guess, to like protect this sort of thing. All I'm thinking is, why are they watching instead of playing? I would be like, I'm sitting down for this, but we end up just like sitting there. We walked out like, it was something close to like 25 grand. And I was like, we was in there for about 20 minutes, played one shoe and fucked off. I was like, happy fucking New Year. I was like, let's go. That was my greatest ever experience in a casino. That was. And again, just dumb luck that something called this first croupier away that caused the second one to come. Otherwise, it never would have happened.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I used to, one of my first job when I moved to Glasgow was like a sales job, and I kind of became like a leader and stuff like that, and had a wee kind of thing on the go. And I used to love. I go to the casino every Wednesday for my dinner. That was kind of my thing. Like Wednesday was payday, so payday
Oh, okay,
Wednesday.
yeah.
Finish, staying late, wait till everyone goes up the road because casinos open up all night, obviously, and go to the casino. And like it is a bit of a flex when people in the casino know you, but it's not. It's only if you've got somebody with you. If you get
Yeah.
somebody with you, it's
Oh,
a
yeah,
flex
you're the
because
man,
it's like,
yeah.
you know, I'm a high roller. I know where I'm going. But yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it? But I had some fun with that. The side bets was never anything for me, but I just, I don't know. I'd rather keep my money for my hand or for doubles or for splits or that kind of thing. It was always good crack. But one thing, like, I'll throw this out as we're kind of off track, and then we'll kind of wrap up, I guess, see what your guys' thoughts on this is. But when I used to, I had that little period where I used to go to the casino maybe twice a month or so, if not once a week for dinner or whatever. I used to go with a guy for a while called Johnny, and Johnny ended up, it'd be me, Johnny, and a couple of birds most of the time. And Johnny ended up knowing one of the guys. Like we would go to the same casino all the time, and then one day we went, and he was like, "I went to school with him. He's my mate, like actual." And he was, and you know they do everything, all the croupiers. But I'm telling you, if I was on the same roulette table as that guy, or me and Johnny were on the same roulette table as that guy, if you had enough money to go for enough spins, like you would leave no bad. You know, you would,
Yeah.
you know, they can aim. You know, they can
Yeah,
aim. With the,
they learn, don't they, with the weight of the ball, with how they flick it, and how the weight of the wheel, of how they spin it. They can reasonably accurately get within like an 8 to 10 number like range, like quite consistently. It's fascinating to watch.
yeah, it is I. So
Yeah,
I had a pure. I could even do it now in my sleep, but I've got a lot of roulette bet of like I can kind of cover like so much of the wheel without exposing myself too much in a way,
okay.
you know, and yeah, and again, there's no sound gambling strategy. There's always holes in it and all that. So I'm getting carried away. You're getting me excited.
I mean,
to go
there
to
is, right? The
casino now.
martingale system. The martingale system is like flawless. You just need a big enough bankroll. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know what martingale is, but yes, you are guaranteed to win, but you need.
It's the whole red black thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you just keep doubling your bet, and eventually
Uh-huh.
you'll win your initial bet. But obviously, if you hit casino limit first or run out of bankroll, then you're fucked. And I started watching craps about 2 years ago, and I'd never played craps before. I just didn't get it. But there's a game called Sick Bow, which is like an Asian dice game,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I really like that game. And then somebody was like, "Oh, you like that? Like you'll love craps." And so I started watching this guy who plays craps, and I'm like, craps is a fascinating game because there's obviously with craps the idea is like if you roll a 7 you lose, but if you roll anything else you either don't lose or you win. And the reason why 7 is because there's more multiples of 7. There's 6 and 1, 5 and 2, and 4 and 3. So there's so many combinations of hitting 7, which is why the house always wins. But in the lore of like because the universe is infinite, right? And this is where my stupid brain goes. You don't need to not ever roll a 7. You just need to never roll a 7 during your time frame. 1 minute. And the way like numbers work is there would have been a period of time over like even a year period over the history of rolling dice where somebody would have not rolled a 7 for 1,000 rolls. It just would have happened. It's statistically like guaranteed that it would have happened. So I just sit there and think, as long as I'm in that moment in the universe where a 7 just doesn't roll for like tens or hundreds of rolls, I'll just win every time.
I didn't realize that was the rules of it. I thought there was a bit more. I don't know why, but I always thought aiming the dice was important somehow.
People
like
think
where
it does.
hits.
People think
Oh,
they
is that
can
a
like
superstition thing?
Yeah.
I don't know why I always thought that. I thought you had to aim it somewhere and maybe call it. Call something like higher or
some
lower,
people,
maybe odds or
some
evens,
people,
or is that just for fun? It's not actually a part of the dynamic. Okay.
I mean, you can bet on odds or evens or high and low, but people think that they know how to roll like high or roll, and it's like you don't. Like,
Yeah.
people think like there's a lot of stuff I watch where people genuinely think like the grip of the dice, like if they take the dice and hold them together where it's like 2 6s on top and they throw them a certain way, they think that they can get like a number to roll, and they just can't. It's like, statistically proven with historical data that you just can't. Craps is not very complicated. Craps is so simple, and if you like to gamble, and I know you guys obviously like a little bit of gambling because you like Sorare or whatever, craps is an insane game because you don't even need a big bankroll to be able to just play for an extremely long time. You might not win much, but you also won't lose much. Like,
yeah. On the whole addictive personality thing, I don't think I'm going to look into it anymore because
after tonight, Google it and watch some craps videos. And if you don't love craps by this time tomorrow, I'll never mention it again.
Sounds
But if you do, let's meet somewhere and let's go and play some craps. Yeah, like,
that'd be a video and a half, wouldn't it?
it would. Yeah.
Brad, you gonna say something there? Sorry, bud.
sounds crap.
Yeah, it's a weird name, isn't it? Craps. Yeah.
Nice. An Americanism, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
Right, my wife's coming twice now, telling me dinner's ready.
I was going to say, I'm gonna wrap up. Everyone, thanks for everyone that joined. Nips, you need to run. Pleasure, mate. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, all good. Thanks, chat, guys. Catch you later.
Pleasure. Have a good weekend, everyone.